Live from Maury Stadium in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Welcome to tonight's broadcast of Cyclones football as visiting Eastern View takes on James Monroe. I'm Mark O'Connell, joined as always by Steve Peacock. Steve, this is a historic place, a lot of tradition here. When we think of James Monroe, we think of a team that's always been a contender and in the hunt for a Division III, or in this case, Class 3A state title. Don't think they're this year what they have been, but I know that Coach Hatfield, whether it's James Monroe or whoever else it is, he never underestimates an opponent. Based on what you know about James Monroe, what concerns you tonight as far as tonight's matchup's concerned?
What really concerns me, really, to be honest with you, this stadium. It's a tough place to play, and Eastern View knows that. So, I mean, that's number one going for James Monroe. Number two, what James Monroe is going to do is they're very explosive offensively, and they're going to try to score a lot of points. And they've had some close games and been a mistake here or there, not being able to break open games. But then Cortland really last week really pounded them on the ground. Zen White, I think, had 347 yards rushing. So I look for Eastern View tonight to just pound with that ground game and with a few play-action passes. And I think they'll come out of here with a big win tonight. But you can't underestimate James Monroe, like you said.
Yeah, early into the season when we were watching Eastern View explode offensively, and they're averaging over 50 points a game, we started looking at the schedule and we were thinking, if anyone's really going to pose a formidable challenge to them during the regular season, it would be James Monroe.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we really point out two games. James Monroe, and next week's game against King George that could possibly challenge Eastern View. But I hope James Monroe does challenge Eastern View tonight, because that would help Eastern View going into the playoffs.
Right.
And I think they need to be challenged. I'm going to go right here on record. I don't think we're going to see a running clock and a big score tonight. I think we'll see a big win, but I don't think you're going to see it by a 35-point margin.
All right, let's catch up with Cyclones head coach Greg Hatfield and see what he has to say about tonight's game. Joined now by Cyclones head coach Greg Hatfield. Coach, great to see you. Figured out a way to stop the Cyclone juggernaut. I figured it out on my own. And what we have to do is have a bye week. And you had a bye week that stopped the juggernaut. What a season you guys are having. How do you feel going into tonight's game, knowing that James Monroe historically has been a very solid team? I know you don't underestimate them, but what are the keys tonight for Cyclone success?
You know, they're very explosive offensively, and you know, it's been a play here, a mistake there that's kind of slowed them down, more so than anybody really beating them. They had chances versus Cortland and just made some mistakes. So my real worry is if they get a little confidence and start playing, they're a really good offensive team. Obviously, they have athletes everywhere that can run around. So it's, you know, I think we got to play really well and keep the ball and try to take it away from them.
Coach, what do you got to do defensively to stop James Monroe's offense?
Got to be very sound. We can't allow the big play when they get out in space. We got to tackle them, and if got to try to get some turnovers.
Right.
So if we can do that, then I think we can slow them down.
What do you got to do from a defensive standpoint? I mean, what do you have to do offensively against them?
I think we got to control the ball and get our playmakers to make plays. Try to spread it around a little bit and just play with some confidence and go after it.
Well, it's a good night for football tonight.
Yes, sir. It's finally
like fall. Finally fall.
Coach, before you go,
Yes.
any injuries to speak of tonight we need to know about?
No, we're actually, knock on wood, we're getting healthy, so we're all right. Thank you.
Well,
Good luck tonight.
Good luck.
Always a pleasure. Well, Steve, Coach Hatfield's got quite a football team here, you know, and really on paper, this is an ideal matchup for Eastern View, and here's why. Eastern View, as you know, has a very solid running game behind Trey Holmes, Jalen Veeney, and others. And on the other side of that football, James Monroe gave up over 400 rushing yards to Cortland last week. So on paper, this looks like a great matchup for Eastern View.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mark, and I think what's going to happen, you're going to see a big dose of Trey Holmes, Jalen Veeney tonight. And, you know, you can't forget Lowry mixing it up and trying to go to Diego Hunter with some play-action passes. But what I'm going to see, you know, that's what you're going to see tonight. James Monroe has proven so far this season they cannot stop a good run offense. And so it's going to be tonight. Yeah, I think Eastern View is going to, if they can dominate up front the line of scrimmage, I think they're going to be running a lot tonight against James Monroe.
I'm looking forward to calling the game with you tonight from Maury Stadium. It's been a long time since we've been here, but we'll look forward to it. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have tonight's kickoff to get things started. So stay tuned. You're watching Cyclones football on the Culpeper Media Network.
Not everyone is an HVAC expert. Luckily, with 20 years of experience, Able Heating and Air can answer any and all questions you may have about your system. Peace of mind and knowledge that you made the right choice because they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
What do your clothes say about you? Well, if they were screen printed or embroidered at Triple Image, they can speak volumes. Originality, professionalism, experience. Your clothes can speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image. 829-1050. Battlefield Automotive is proud to continue support of our high school youth and the Culpeper community. Winner of the prestigious Ford President's Award for a record 13 consecutive years. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford offers award-winning service and unprecedented selection of new and used vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community.
CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. Finding the right outerwear for the job is difficult. Luckily, you'll find Carhartt clothing, Red Wing, and Irish Setter boots. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center. Found in Sons Funeral Chapels has made it their business to provide solutions during difficult times for over a quarter of a century. During that time, they've also made an investment in our youth through football, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, skateboarding, and 4-H, among other projects. Good luck to tonight's teams and do your best. Every lifelong relationship starts with day one. At Virginia Community Bank, we'll talk about how you can bank with us for life. With 40-plus years of experience in Culpeper and beyond, it's our privilege to help clients achieve their goals, short-term, long-term, and everywhere in between. Bank with us anytime. Bank with us for a lifetime.
From Maury Stadium in Fredericksburg, Virginia, welcome to tonight's broadcast as the visiting Cyclones take on the Yellow Jackets of James Monroe. Hello, I'm Mark O'Connell alongside Steve Peacock, Johnny Krawchuk behind the camera tonight. The Cyclones dressed out tonight in those white jerseys, white pants, blue helmets. And here come the Yellow Jackets of James Monroe. They're 3-5 this year, while the Cyclones are 8-0. Steve, the Cyclones had a bye week last week, and what do you think about the timing of that, coupled with taking on James Monroe tonight?
Well, I mean, they're coming off a bye week, Mark, and they're going to be, I think they're well rested. Eastern View talk about they don't have very many injuries. They're going to come in with a full squad against James Monroe, but James Monroe is going to be fired up. They're ready. They want to pull the upset against Eastern View, so it's going to be a good game tonight. You're going to see two explosive offenses really in James Monroe. That's how they like to score, quick and fast. And Eastern View is going to try to dominate with the run game tonight, so it's going to be an interesting ball game.
Well, this is totally off topic, but you and I have watched and listened to sports broadcasts all our lives. And if you're tuning in to a college or professional football game broadcast, have you noticed that the commentators don't always have to talk for there to be noise in the background, that it takes care of a lot of that? Well, last week when we were at Broman Field, there was no sound around us. And tonight, what an example in contrast of how we're up here in a small press box. The accommodations are fine. People are friendly, but there's a lot of noise behind us. So tonight, the reason I'm saying that is that when we're not talking, the viewing audience is probably going to be hearing some other background noise and perhaps dialogue.
Yep.
Right now, the team captains from both teams approach to the center of the field. And for Eastern View, number 2 is Cameron Spangler. Number 3, Diego Hunter. 75, Kyle Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And the other player there, number 6, is Garrett Robinson. And for James Monroe, number 6, Zion Austin. Big number 54 is Elijah Wilkins. Number 3, Amaro Barnum. And number 24, now this is going to be a number we expect to call frequently tonight. It's Aaron Johnson. He goes by AJ Johnson. He's a senior running back and free safety. So one of the things, Steve, about tonight's matchup is that, and we were talking about this in the pregame, is that on paper it seems to suit the Cyclones perfectly in the sense that they have a very solid punishing ground game where they control the ball, they move it down the field methodically behind a very effective offensive line. They've got great running backs in Trey Holmes and Jalen Veeney and others off the bench. And opposite the football tonight is a team, James Monroe. They gave up over 400 rushing yards against Cortland last week. So on paper, it seems like the perfect matchup for the Cyclones. But of course, Coach Hatfield knows that on paper, that's not what wins football games.
You got to win it on the field, Mark. And like I said, I think, James Monroe is not going to, Eastern View is not going to underestimate James Monroe. They have a very, like I said, explosive offense. Their Achilles heel has been defense this year.
Well,
and so now it looks like, go ahead, who's going to receive the kickoff, Mark?
James Monroe won the toss. They opt to receive. So we're going to see the James Monroe offense opposite the Eastern View defense, barring any miscue off the kickoff. But no, let's talk about Eastern View's defense, though. We've been impressed with them all season. They're a very swarming defensive unit. They get to the ball. They play smart. And they haven't given up many points this season. Steve, I think this is going to sound kind of clever of me. I may say so. But if there were a team in the league or in the area dressed for Halloween, wouldn't it be James Monroe?
It would be black and orange.
Yeah. We're going to see Eastern View tee it up to kick off to James Monroe.
And they're led by longtime legendary coach Rick Survey, who's actually a good friend of Coach Lou Sorrentino.
That's right.
And
Garrett Hutchinson has teed it up. You're looking at the Cyclones kickoff team there.
Barnum back deep to receive for the Yellow Jackets.
And remember, Eastern View had a bye week last week, so they're coming in well rested. And Coach Hatfield said we're also very healthy. That's a good sign. Here's the kickoff. Hutchinson going down to the 10-yard line. Going to be fielded just shy of the 2 at the 5, 10, 15, 20. Takes a hard hit as the return man gets across the 20 out to the 22-yard line. The return man there was Monroe Barnum. As for James Monroe from the 22, will start on offense.
Again, like I said, James Monroe, Mark, is very explosive offensively. They're going to want to go for the quick strike and really try to go after Eastern View and probably try to attack that secondary. I think another key defensively for Eastern View tonight is, they gang tackle so well and they go to the football, but I think you're going to have some good defensive line play. They can control that line of scrimmage.
All right. Well, the quarterback is Zach Davis, and back there along with him is A.J. Johnson. Receiver in motion, and a little fake there. Davis throws. This one looks like it's picked off, and it is by number 5. Cohen King, the linebacker. First play from scrimmage. It's a pass out of the flat. Good coverage. And Cohen King, he's been there before with an interception.
And Cohen King just watched the eyes of the quarterback, Mark, and he just followed James Monroe's quarterback all the time. He knew he was going to throw there, and he stepped in the wide receiver. Looks like they're going to have the football right about the 23-yard line. Looks like Eastern View is going to have great field position starting out thanks to Cohen King.
Here comes the Cyclone offensive unit with a big break given to them by their defense. Matt Lowry is the quarterback, operating from the spread. And they throw it out to Diego Hunter. Here's Hunter going to work. A little spin move there. And he got inside the 20, out to about the 18, picked up 5 yards on first down. 2nd and 5 coming up. You're looking at the James Monroe defensive unit there.
We got a legal shift against Eastern View on that first play, Mark.
Legal shift against Eastern View for a 5-yard.
All right. And they'll mark it back to the 28-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 15 there. Opening minutes here of the first quarter here at Maury Stadium in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Home with the Yellow Jackets at James Monroe. Matt Lowry and company, and he handed off to Trey Holmes, looking for some running room. He got away from a couple defenders, but good pursuit by James Monroe, and they hold him to a pickup of 2 yards, and we'll have 2nd and 13 coming up.
And Mark, Trey Holmes only needed 12 yards coming into this game, and he would have over 1,000 yards for the season.
Yeah, was it 12?
12.
Okay. I thought he needed 41.
Well, I mean, the Fredericksburg paper said 12, so.
Then it's probably 41. Here is 2nd and 13 from the 26. Play action. Lowry going up top. trying to get it to his receiver, Zach Thomas. Zach Thomas would have had a touchdown. He had some open room. Actually, off the Fredericksburg.com Freelance Star website, I saw that Trey Holmes had 12 rushing touchdowns and needed 41 yards to reach 1,000. But I think whether it's 29 or 41, he's probably going to get it tonight.
He's going to get it tonight.
All right, now here's a big third down play already early in the game, Steve. 3rd and 13 for the Cyclones from the 26.
Well, they had Zach Thomas open, and Matt had just waited a little bit longer before he threw that football. But now see if they can pick up first down here.
Here's the swing it out to Trey Holmes. Broke a tackle, 15-10. Going for more. He's looking for the pile on. He's in from 26 yards out.
And it says, get the storm sirens going. It's a Cyclone touchdown.
26-yard touchdown catch by Trey Holmes. And to get there, he had to break a couple tackles, and he did.
He did. He's a load to bring down, Mark, once he gets ahead of steam.
We were talking about his rushing yards, what he needed, whether it was 29 or 41. He got that receiving. And that's a real bonus for the Cyclones. You know he's going to get the yards running. He got it out there on off the catch, and it was a short pass, but he went to work in the open field. Yards after catch resulted in a touchdown. Here's the point after by Hutchinson. His kick is up. 7-0 our score. Let's break down how this thing came about. Eastern View kicked off. James Monroe started their own 22. First play from scrimmage, they turned it over.
And Mark, and that's the sign of what good teams do. When they get the turnover, they make the other team pay for that turnover, and they went in and scored the touchdown. And again, they had about 24 yards to operate. They had a penalty to open up the first down, but then they were able to pick up that third 13. Were able to pick up the touchdown with a swing pass to Trey Holmes. And like I said, there was nobody out there. He was wide open.
And here's the other thing to consider. They were in a 3rd and 13 situation. What a great play call to think, rather than going to Trey Holmes up the middle for a run, why not swing it to him out of the backfield and see what he can do in the open field?
And he did. He proved that he can catch the football and had made a good big play for the Cyclones.
All right, Garrett Hutchinson will kick off again. Cyclones up 7-0. 10:40 to play here in the first quarter. All right, here's Hutchinson's kick. This is going to be fielded about the 10-yard line. This is A.J. Johnson across the 30, 35, 40. Good return by Johnson. This is a player we told you we'd be mentioning his name a lot tonight. And already, Steve, even though James Monroe is down, A.J. Johnson on special teams gives his team a lift with excellent field position as they send their offensive unit out to the field for the second time tonight.
Well, they're a quick strike offense, Mark, and they James Monroe really likes to get for that quick score, and A.J. Johnson's a big factor in that.
So James Monroe will have it on its own 45-yard line. Under center now is Zach Davis. And here's the handoff. And going nowhere, right into the waiting arms of big number 77. That is Jeff Stallings, the sophomore. There he is. Steve, he was just waiting for him and wrapped him up real nicely.
He did. He had no room to go there, Mark.
And he lost a yard on the play. 2nd and 11 for the Yellow Jackets from their own 44-yard line. Quarterback Zach Davis goes back to the gun. That's Johnson in motion. Here's the handoff to the running back. Runs into a wall. Takes a pretty good hit. Maybe one tough yard on the play. A couple Cyclones in on the action. Number 59 is Avery Seitz. And this is in a pretty stingy and swarming Cyclone defense, Steve, for several years. I know you've been really impressed with them this season.
Yeah, Mark, they do a great job. They all go to the football, they find it, and they all gang tackle very well.
2nd down and 10 from the 45-yard line. James Monroe. Here's Johnson. He's looking for some running room. He had a little bit of a crease, but it closed quickly thanks to big number 77, Jeff Stallings again. 2 good tackles for Stallings, and he goes to the sidelines, and they replace him here on the 3rd down situation. And coming into the game is number 40, and that is Jamie Guerrero.
Yeah, but it looks like it's a punt, Mark. It's 4th down, and it looks like James Monroe is going to try to punt.
So it is a 4th down. And 8.
James
from
Monroe's going to try
the
to play the field
47.
position.
Okay, dropping back to punt. I believe it's number 5. trying to pick up his number. Chris Cogbill. It's Cogbill. Here's his punt. Line drive kick. Diego Hunter, nice catch at the 15-yard line, 20, 25, 30. Oh, he ran into his own defender. Blockers got away from him, got in the open field, and there he goes. There goes Diego Hunter all the way. Steve, you better look for some dirty laundry.
I don't see any.
I think if the play stands, unofficially, he caught it from 15 yards, a punt return. That's 85 yards and a touchdown by Diego Hunter.
And it was, Mark, and it's Cyclone touchdown. Diego Hunter on that punt return, 85 yards. And he looked like he was going to get tackled by his own man.
I know it.
And he ran and took it to the house.
He was sort of like a pinball, though, when he hit, and he bounced right off, and I thought, he's not going down. And when he got in the open field, there was just no catching.
And after his PAT, we'll go to the replay.
Mm-hmm. That is worthy of another look. Well, everyone knows that Diego Hunter is a playmaker and a game breaker. There he is. So Eastern View now up 13-0, 8:23 to play in the first quarter. Hutchinson on for the point after. Zach Thomas, the holder. Snap, hold, kick is up, and the kick is good. 14-0 our score. Let's go back to that replay, Steve. I know you want to break this one down for our viewing audience.
They put it right to Diego Hunter, and I don't think Coach Survey wanted James Monroe to punt to right exactly Diego Hunter, but he took the ball, Mark, got a couple good blocks, then right about midfield, almost ran into his own man, but he broke free, and there was nobody who was going to catch him. 85 yards later, Cyclone touchdown.
And one thing I'd like to add, Steve, to your commentary on that replay is Diego Hunter makes fielding the ball look easy, but that catch is not something that I think everyone can make.
No, it isn't. And, he's an athlete. Of course, he got an honor this week. He's been invited to play in the high school annual blue-gray high school all-star game down in Tampa, Florida. He's got a GoFundMe page for everybody out there to go on Facebook, and Diego Hunter, let's please help him out to help offset some travel expenses. But he's been invited, one of 90 players nationwide. Great honor for Diego Hunter.
Sure is. Well-deserved, too. All right, Garrett Hutchinson and the Cyclones lead 14-0. He kicks off again. This one's going to be fielded inside the 10-yard line, across the 20, and cut down nicely at the 23-yard line. Making the tackle on special teams is Cohen King, his second big play of the game. Earlier, he got an interception. The turnover gave the Cyclones an opportunity for their first score. Our score is 14-0 as James Monroe back onto the field with their offense for the third time, and they're going to start this one from their own 25.
And really, right now, Eastern View has been all Eastern View. James Monroe, had a turnover interception and then that punt return. And right now, James Monroe offense really hasn't been on track so far in this first quarter.
No, and in the running game, the players like Josh Stallings, really, or Jeff Stallings, rather, taking up space and just waiting for the ball carrier to get there.
Yep.
All right. Dropping back, Zach Davis swings it to his running back. What a nice tackle made at the line of scrimmage by Cohen King. Already 3 big plays tonight by that Cyclone defensive standout.
Right now, the way Eastern View's playing defensively, Mark, they're really laying some licks on those boys from James Monroe. And right now, James Monroe knows that they're getting really outmanned right at the defensive front. But on the offense, James Monroe's offensive line is getting dominated by our defensive front.
And the 4-man front, as you can see there. A little play action. They hand it off to Johnson, trying to go somewhere, nowhere, because they slow him up, and then the pursuit gets there, and 4 different Cyclone players in the tackle. And this is an example of what we talked about in terms of swarming defense.
Yep. And that's what they want to do, Mark, and they pursued of the football so well. And right now, James Monroe, I think they're going to have to go up top, in order to, maybe, try to loosen up this Eastern View defense.
Zach Davis, number 9, is the junior quarterback. Looks like James Monroe may be calling a timeout here. And we're going to tell you this broadcast is made possible by Triple Image. Make your clothes speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image at 829-1050. So we're down to 7:08 to play here in the first quarter. Clock has stopped with the timeout. And Steve, there it is. I was going to tell you that my pencil's been an elusive object tonight. I was going to say I'd lost my second one, and we were only in the first quarter, but not to be the case.
He wants to run and hide from you.
What's that?
He wants to run and hide from you.
Exactly. So we have 7 minutes and 8 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Clock is stopped with the James Monroe timeout, and they're looking at a 3rd and 8 from their own 27-yard line. And when you're down 14-0 like they are, you'd be pretty careful here on a 3rd down and 8 situation against this Cyclone defense. Let's see what Zach Davis of James Monroe and his teammates draw up, trying to get some offensive spark going for the team. Man in motion, they give it to him on the end around. And nowhere to go. That one closed quickly as Cameron Spangler
and
Diego Hunter combined for the tackle. Wow, right when it looked like he had a little bit of running room, it closed quickly, didn't it?
That hole closed quickly. Can you say, Mama, shut the refrigerator door?
Now on 4th and 8, and Diego Hunter drops back. The last time he got his hands on the football, unofficially an 85-yard punt return for a touchdown.
We'll see if James Monroe is going to punt to him again.
And that's Chris Coghill, the punter, standing back inside his own 20-yard line. Surely he'll try to kick away from him, and he does, but it's going to be a short kick. Let's see how it bounces down. Diego Hunter does get up under it, and then he takes a hard hit for it. Not a very.
He tried to catch James Monroe napping, but he almost had it too. But good thing he held on the ball. It was a good stick there by James Monroe.
Well, you can just tell that Diego Hunter is intent upon getting his hands on the football. And you know they want to get him as many opportunities as possible. Now, Eastonview goes back on offense with excellent field position at their own 47. And they lead 14-0, and then we're not even at the midway point here of the first quarter.
And Eastonview really hasn't gotten his running game on track because they haven't had to. They've had big plays already.
Right. Speaking of the running game, here's Trey Holmes up the middle, exploding, and he was tripped up at the 45-yard line, would have gotten more. Instead, he got down near the James Monroe, right at the 41. That's a pickup of 12 yards and a first down for the Cyclones.
And Mark, he just runs so hard up the middle. Trey Holmes, he's got that quick first step, a lot quicker than he did last year, and he just exploded through that hole.
All right, first down. They go back to, there he is off the right side, into the secondary, breaks a tackle. He's in the end zone from 41 yards out.
And you can see here, you just ready to rev it up and sound that siren. It's storm warning. It's a Cyclone touchdown, 45 yards by Trey Holmes. Correct?
And Steve, if the word I got was correct, that it was 41 yards he needed, he just picked up 41 yards on a touchdown run. Yeah, so if you needed 41 yards, how about getting it and to get the touchdown to boot?
And he just went over 1,000 yards on the season.
Yeah, we were saying he needed 29 or 41, whatever the source was, to get to the 1,000-yard mark. Whether he got it, and he got it off the touchdown to boot. So here's the point after by Garrett Hutchinson. Hutchinson getting a workout tonight already. 21-0 our score, and so if you're James Monroe, you're not real happy right now. You're just at the midway point in this first quarter, and you're down 21-0. What can you do?
Well, can you say shell-shocked? Mark, and that's exactly what the sideline looks like at James Monroe, shell-shocked. I mean, they're already down 21 points, and we're only 5 minutes in the first quarter. And, of course, I said in the pregame I didn't think James Monroe was going to lose by a 35-point margin, and I think I'm being corrected.
Well, of course, anything can happen and things can change. But the way this, of course, the Cyclones have taken advantage of some good opportunities with the interception by Cohen King and then the great punt return by Diego Hunter, just a thing of beauty to watch. Unless you're the opposition, of course, you don't like it too much. But it's very methodical, this team. And what about the running that Trey Holmes? I mean, he's getting into that secondary without even being touched.
Right, and we haven't even seen Jalen Beanie yet, and it just shows the Achilles heel for James Monroe so far this season has been their run defense.
And that's the very thing we were talking about in the pregame. What Cortland did to them last week. In the Cortland win, they had over 400 rushing yards from the 5-yard line. Here's a return man across the 20 and across the 30. Decent field position as A.J. Johnson brings it back for James Monroe. Well, this broadcast is made possible by Fountain & Sons, investing in youth at all levels to help make tomorrow's leaders. Fountain Sons at 825-3530. 5:51 to play here in the first quarter. Our score, Cyclones 21, Yellow Jackets nothing. And this time James Monroe will start on offense from its own 33-yard line. The Yellow Jackets come in tonight with a record of 3-5, and they're going to load up the receivers. 3 to the top of your screen, 2 to the bottom. This is Johnson in motion. They fake it to him. Davis has time. He goes downfield and incomplete. Intended for number 6, Zion Alston. Good coverage back there by the Cyclone secondary, Steve.
Number 25 for the Cyclones covering on that play was Noah Proctor, and also he had some help from number 8. And that was Cody Howard back there as well from the safety.
There he is, number 25, Noah Proctor, Jr. And now we have 2nd and 10.
But that's what James Monroe's got to do, Mark, to come on, to try to get him back in this game. They're going to have to start either throw some screen passes and some long, try to hit some big passing plays in order to loosen up this Eastern View defense.
Here's Zach Davis handing off to A.J. Johnson. He got a little bit of yardage before it closed down on him. He got across the 35, perhaps out to the 37 with forward progress. If that's the case, it's going to bring up 3rd and 6.
It looks like number 7 for Eastern View's got to come off the field, and that would be Jacob Ashwell.
Did his helmet come off?
Helmet
Yeah.
came off. But, another thing is, too, Mark, that, James Monroe lost a really top returning back, Lovell Armstead, but he transferred to Stafford, who's having a big season for Stafford. Stafford's got a big game tonight against Brook Point, and James Monroe is really missing him.
All right, 3rd and 6 now. This is Johnson. He's got a first down with that second effort, and he got across midfield.
But it's going to be coming back. It looks like it's going to be a hold or a legal block in the back, right back in the backfield.
That's good eyes. I didn't see that. I was watching the flow of the ball there, or the play. Here you called it. Steve called it. Here's the holding, and perhaps that explains why he was able to get so loose.
So that's going to negate a first down run by A.J. Johnson and James Monroe.
Yeah, best looking run of the game for James Monroe. They're going to bring it back, aren't they?
They're going to bring it back and replay 3rd down.
Steve, let's talk about Culpeper while you have a break. We saw them last week. I thought they lost a heartbreaker last week that they really should have won.
I know they should have won, Mark, but they're just too vanilla on offense last week, and they just
well
played
said.
right into Brentsville's hands, and Brentsville came back with 1:49 to go, and kudos to Brentsville. They came back and they won the football game.
All right, here's 3rd and 13 now after the holding penalty. Ball at the 29. Zach Davis, the quarterback, dropping back. Now he steps up and throws across the middle. This one incomplete. And it's going to bring up another 4th down. It looks like defending that time was Cohen King. How many times here in the first quarter have we already called his name? He's playing spectacularly.
He is. He's going to have a well of a ball game right now. Now James Monroe is forced to punt. Of course, Diego Hunter's back, and of course, James Monroe is not going to try to punt to him.
No, they say, see that number 3 back there, that little guy?
I don't care
you
if
keep
you
the ball
punt
out of
it
his hands.
To the 50-yard line. Punt it over there.
Yeah, all right. So here's your punter, Chris Coghill, standing inside the 20. High snap. He gets it down. He comes the pressure. It's blocked. Ball is into the end zone, and they're diving for it. And I believe Eastern View has recovered. No, James Monroe has recovered it. That would be a safety, wouldn't it?
Would be a safety.
Yeah. So what a block punt. Well, I think good penetration coupled with that very high snap.
And it will be a
safety.
Yep, it is a safety.
Well, Steve, would you agree that in this first quarter, almost anything that could go wrong for James Monroe has happened?
It has. I mean, it's just the wheels have fallen off the wagon, Mark. And now Eastern View's going to get the ball back on offense because after that safety, James Monroe is going to have to punt it away.
So, off that first play from scrimmage, James Monroe had the interception, and then soon Eastern View capitalized on it. Then they had the punt return by Diego Hunter. And then they had the long run by Trey Holmes, 41 yards for a touchdown. And now they go back on offense. And they had a pretty good running play, but the holding moved it to a 3rd and 13. And then on a 4th and 13 into punt, they had it blocked. They gave up the safety. So a lot has gone wrong for James Monroe already early in this football game.
And Mark, you can see it in the James Monroe players. They're really not into this game. I mean, they're going down on the opposite side of the field with the safety, and the coaches had to yell them, get in the game. You're punting down here because he's confused going to our right, and would be probably north and James Monroe went down the other side of the field. So it just shows right now. I just don't think this team is into this ball game.
Well, it's a free kick at the 20, and Miguel Hernandez.
I'm surprised they're going to kick it instead of punt it.
They usually do punt on a free kick, don't they?
Yeah, because you get more depth on it, but they don't want to punt it to Diego Hunter. So
Yeah.
they're going to squib this thing. You watch. He'll probably go to about the 50-yard line.
All right, here's the kick.
Oh,
It's a good one, end over end. And Diego Hunter gets under at the 25-yard line. 30, 35, 40, straight ahead, 45. And they bring him down. But Diego Hunter, another good return. And Eastern View Cyclones up 23-0. Send their offense back on the field with outstanding field position at their own 47.
And a good operating territory for the Eastern View offense, Mark. And we really haven't seen, a big ball control offense by Eastern View, but they haven't had to. They scored off a defensive off the interception. I mean, they had an interception, and Trey Holmes takes in on a swing pass. They've had a punt return, a safety, and another big run by Trey Holmes.
All right, and here comes Matt Lowry. Jalen Veeney in the backfield with him now on first down. And Veeney, his first carry of the night, over left tackle. He gets across midfield, just shy of the James Monroe 45-yard line, as number 21, Chase Sproul, makes the tackle for James Monroe. No huddle.
And if you can get 8 yards on first down, you're doing pretty good.
Here's Jalen Veeney. He gets to the 40-yard line. He needed a couple for a first down. He picked up 5, and that'll move the sticks. And go ahead.
Behind that big offensive line of Eastern View, led there by Kyle Smith and number 75. Who's number 75?
Kyle Smith, right. 77. We mentioned him on defense. Jeff Stalling. 69.
Tyler Settle. 65. Adam Lillard.
Right. There's some beef up there and some veterans. Lowry throws, looking for Zach Thomas. Incomplete, overthrown. Good coverage out there, and as well. It'll be a 2nd and 10 Cyclones from the Yellow Jackets 40. 3:47 to play in the first quarter. Our score: Eastern View 23, James Monroe nothing.
And number 70, Jacob Southard, completes that offensive line, Mark. Now brings up 2nd and 10. I would be sitting there going, hey, they're going to pass to keep James Monroe honest. But I could just be given a heavy dose
of Trey Holmes or Jalen Veeney.
Yep.
Both are in the game. Veeney is on Lowry's flank there in the backfield. Diego Hunter here in the slot. And they go to Veeney. Straight ahead. Here's Veeney to the 35. The ball is loose. And it looks like big number 75 may have pounced on it for Eastern View. That would be Kyle Smith. If so, he's the Johnny on the spot for the team. There he is.
Yep.
Kyle Smith. Heads up play by the lineman there.
Jalen Veeney, that's really his first fumble, I think, all season, Mark. He just, he's looked like he's shaking his hand a little bit. He might have got a pop down there, but he's just got to learn to hold on to that football.
All right, 3rd and 4 Cyclones from the Yellow Jacket 34. Here's Lowry handing off Trey Holmes. Here's Holmes bouncing to the outside. He gets to 30, picks up a big block by Zach Thomas, and then he gets much more yardage. As he gets down, let's check the spot. It looks like it's going to be about the 10-yard line.
And that was a great block by Zach Thomas, Mark. Comes back from his wide receiver position and picked off the defender and allowed Trey Holmes to get around that corner.
Sure did. And now the Cyclones knocking on the door once more. Let's check the spot. Looks like it's at the 12.
12-yard line.
So that means he picked up 22 yards on the play. 1st and 10 from the 12. There's Lowry. Nice play and a throw right on the money. On the slant to Zach Thomas from 12 yards out. Cyclones find another way to score.
And the hurricane, the storm siren, and all the cyclone sirens are sounded. It's a Cyclone touchdown from Matt Lowry to Zach Thomas on a slant.
Steve, I think that's worth another look because of that play action that froze the
and
defense.
that's what did it. I agree, Mark.
You want to take another look at that one?
We'll take another look at that one after the PAT.
After the kickoff. I mean, the point after, rather. Garrett Hutchinson getting a workout tonight. Zach Thomas, the holder. He scored a moment ago on the 12-yard reception. Kick is good. Our score, 30-0. First quarter action. All right, Garrett Hutchinson.
The new one is Tony Romo. He's over the top, though.
It'll be Troy Aikman. Who else is a color analyst that you admire? You probably don't admire Aikman. If I know you. Here's the kickoff going into the end zone. That'll be the touchback. No, they're going to say he's going to run it out. I thought once he got into the end zone, he couldn't run it out.
No, I did too. They allowed him because maybe it hit the ground first. I don't know, in the field of play, and bounce back in the end zone. He can run it out.
All right. Well, this broadcast is made possible by Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community. Battlefield Automotive at 547-3673. Well, I know anything can happen, but my feeling that James Monroe was going to be the team that challenged Easton View on its regular season schedule doesn't look like that's going to come true unless James Monroe figures out some way to turn the corner both on offense and defensively to try to slow down the Easton View attack. So they go back here on offense from the 20-yard line. Here's Davis. Here comes the pressure. He got away from it. Now he throws. This one's picked off as well at the 20 now. The return man was number 25, Noah Proctor, and another interception and another turnover back to the Cyclones.
And let's go to replay on that one, Mark, if we can. And look right here in the pass play. It just said Noah Proctor was reading the quarterback's eyes the whole time. He's flushed out of the pocket. He stepped right in front of the receiver, intercepted the ball, made a good run back. Now Easton View's got the ball back. It looks like they're going to be operating on the 20-yard line of James Monroe, knocking on the door again.
And, you know, we were just talking about that it seemed like everything that could go wrong tonight for James Monroe had gone wrong, and it continues here as they're down 30-0 off the interception by Noah Proctor. Easton View back on the 20. Here is Trey Holmes. This time they meet him in the backfield, and they swarm to the football, and they tackle him for a loss back to the 26-yard line. That's the first time they have stopped a Cyclone play for no gain.
Well, they had a run blitz, Mark, and they just came right in. They guessed right and were able to stop Trey Holmes for a 6-yard loss. And, you know, another offensive lineman we forgot to mention, David Level, up there, number 60.
Number 60, yeah. Right now, with the 5-yard loss, it brings up 2nd and 15. Clock running, under 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. 30-0 our score. Here's Lowry. Protection, held up, then he had to run with it. And then he's hit for a loss. He had a little bit of time. Was that a coverage sack?
That was a coverage sack. That's what Matt's got to learn, Mark, just to throw it out of bounds right there so you get back to the line of scrimmage. But he almost, he looks like they gave him the back to the line of scrimmage, but now brings up about 3rd and looks like the 17.
Yeah, because he lost a couple on the play. So 3rd and 17 from the 27. So if you're Easton View, they had a 3rd and 13 earlier in the game, and they got the ball into the hands of Trey Holmes on the backfield on a short pass. Here's the end around. This is Proctor, 20, 15, and they knock him out of bounds shy of the 10-yard line. What a gutsy call that was. And they give it to the guy who got the interception on defense.
Yep, they sure did, and it was a good play, good end around. We'll see what where they're going to spot it, because I think Easton View will probably go for it here, Mark.
Oh, we got a holding against Easton View. We're going to bring it back.
It's a spot foul. So I couldn't see who the hold was on.
Well, that'll take away the big play by Noah Proctor. It is holding, and they're going to mark it back to the 30. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and 20 now, because the line of scrimmage was the 27. So still a 2-down situation here for the Cyclones, isn't it? From the 30-yard line, you think? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Trey Holmes in the backfield with Matt Lowry. Proctor in motion. They fake it to him this time. Lowry steps up. Here comes the pressure. And they tackle him at the 35-yard line. So this is the first time that James Monroe's defense has really stepped up. And that's going to bring up 4th and 25 as the final 40 seconds are ticking away here in the first quarter with our score 30-0 in favor of the Cyclones. So now, what do you draw up here on 4th and 25 from the 35, Steve?
Well, they're going to punt it, Mark.
Okay.
I don't blame them. You
Right.
pin James Monroe way back deep in their own territory. And, Eastonview was a little disappointed on that offensive series because they had it after that turnover but couldn't cash it in.
All right, Zach Thomas is the punter, standing at about the 48-yard line. Good snap. Thomas's kick. Kicks away and kicks it out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. 3.1 seconds showing on the first quarter scoreboard clock.
Traveled 15 yards down the field and about 40 to the right. 1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets at their own 20-yard line.
All right, they're going to mark it at the 20.
So basically it's a 15-yard punt.
Yeah. All right, so final 3.1 seconds have stopped on the scoreboard clock here in the first quarter. What a quarter for Eastonview, but at the end of this quarter, the James Monroe defense actually stepped up and stopped the Cyclones, and they had a great situation. After the interception, Cyclones had it at the James Monroe 20, weren't able to cash in on it. And now James Monroe back on offense. Davis under center this time. Here's Johnson. He breaks a tackle. He's in the open field. They tackle him at about the 35-yard line. A big gain of 15 yards on the play. That's how the first quarter will end, with James Monroe getting a little bit of lift both on defense on that last offensive play. Into the first quarter, where our score is 30-0 in favor of the Cyclones. We'll take a break and come back for the start of the second right after this.
Not everyone is an HVAC expert. Luckily, with 20 years of experience, Able Heating and Air can answer any and all questions you may have about your system. Peace of mind and knowledge that you made the right choice because they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
What do your clothes say about you? Well, if they were screen printed or embroidered at triple image, they can speak volumes. Originality, professionalism, experience. Your clothes can speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image. 829-1050. Battlefield Automotive is proud to continue support of our high school youth and the Culpeper community. Winner of the prestigious Ford President's Award for a record 13 consecutive years. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford offers award-winning service and unprecedented selection of new and used vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community.
CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. Finding the right outerwear for the job is difficult. Luckily, you'll find Carhartt clothing, Red Wing, and Irish Setter boots. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center. Found in Sons Funeral Chapels has made it their business to provide solutions during difficult times for over a quarter of a century. During that time, they've also made an investment in our youth through football, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, skateboarding, and 4-H, among other projects. Good luck to tonight's teams and do your best. Every lifelong relationship starts with day one. At Virginia Community Bank, we'll talk about how you can bank with us for life. With 40-plus years of experience in Culpeper and beyond, it's our privilege to help clients achieve their goals, short-term, long-term, and everywhere in between. Bank with us anytime. Bank with us for a lifetime.
Back to our broadcast, start of the second quarter. James Monroe has it 1st and 10 from his own 35-yard line. Here's some play action. Zach Davis downfield. He's got a receiver. Incomplete. And he had him out there open. That was number 6, Zane Austin.
And he had him wide open, Mark. Just couldn't complete the pass. Eastonview bid on that play action. And the defense, Jeremy Saintley, defensive back coach for Eastonview, is talking to his defenders, his cornerbacks, saying, look, you got to be careful. Don't let him get behind you.
All right. From the 37-yard line, rather. James Monroe now off the incomplete pass has it 2nd and 10 here in the opening minute of the second quarter. Zach Davis is the quarterback. He's operated from both the gun and under center, and he goes back under center here as he sends 2 receivers to the near side, and he brings back one. That's Zane Austin. We have a split eye back there, and they hand off to Johnson. There's Johnson. hit hard. And no gain on the play. Several Cyclones in on the tackle, including number 6, Garrett Robinson, number 7, Jacob Ashwell. And Cohen King had a big first quarter, didn't he, Steve?
He sure did, Mark. He had a big interception. He's just playing well on defense. But again, what Eastern View's got to do when they hit A.J. Johnson, they got to wrap him up.
All right, here's 3rd and 10. And here's Davis. On the slant, incomplete. Tried to get it to number 14, Turner White. Incomplete, 4th down, and a obvious punting situation for James Monroe. Well, if you missed the first quarter, again, it was 30-0 in favor of Eastern View. And to me, it was everything went right for Eastern View and nothing went right for James Monroe.
It did, Mark, and the score is indicative of that 30-0.
Mm-hmm.
And Eastern View's looking to get that other touchdown and go in at halftime, up by more than 35, so that clock will run in the second half. And that's what they want. They're going to see if they can get it on this opportunity.
All right, here is Chris Coghill punting from the 25. This time the pressure doesn't come. Keeps it on the ground, short kick. Takes a good Yellow Jacket roll as it gets just inside the 20-yard line. And that's where Eastern View will go back on offense, leading 30-0 here with 11:06 to play in the second quarter. All right, and this broadcast is brought to you in part by CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center at 825-2200. And you were saying?
It's a flag on the play.
And will they marking it off against the Cyclones? It looks like they are. Here comes the call. Holding. And that's going to push it all the way back to the 10-yard line. Well, this is the worst field position Eastern View will have had tonight.
Yep, you're right.
So Matt Lowry and his offensive teammates will start from their own 10. Trey Holmes back there alongside Matt Lowry. And they send 2 receivers to each side. Diego Hunter, top of your screen in the slot. We got a little stoppage here, looking to the sidelines for a little direction. Now here is Lowry. Throwing. Caught. Diego Hunter, 20. 25, and that's about where they tackle him as he dove to the 26. Picked up 16 yards and a first down, and I think more importantly there, Steve, some breathing room for the Cyclones.
It is, Mark, and he's just one step away from breaking it, and Diego can feel it too. He knows that if he could just make one more move, he would have been taking it to the house.
Yeah, taking it to the house. He's done that once tonight, hasn't he, on an 85-yard punt return.
85-yard punt return.
All right, 1st and 10 Cyclones from their own 26. Here's Lowry. Here comes the pressure. He gets away from it. Now he's on the run, and he throws it downfield. This one picked off after it was bobbled, and it was picked off near midfield by number 2, Brandon Woolridge. And here's the first turnover for James Monroe, and now the Yellow Jackets have a little something to be excited about.
Yeah, Mark, and that was, Matt was trying to make a big play, but he kind of overthrew his wide receivers right there, and it was tipped, and James Monroe made the number 2. Brandon Woolridge made the interception.
And here is James Monroe trailing 30-0 with 10:34 to play in the second quarter. And they start this offensive sequence from midfield. Zach Davis is the quarterback. Back there with him is number 23, Kamarja Conaway. And here's Davis on first down. Here comes the pressure. He got away from the first defender. Being chased, throws it on the run. This one caught near the inside the 45-yard line. Looks like they'll mark it at the 43. That would be a pickup of 7 yards. 2nd and 3 coming up for James Monroe.
And that was a good play for James Monroe because the quarterback almost got sacked.
Yes, he did.
And he was able to elude that sack and make the pass play. Now it's 2nd and about 3.
Zach Davis, the Yellow Jacket quarterback, brings the team to the line of scrimmage, directing a little traffic here. Back in the backfield with him is number 23, Kamarja Conaway. Here's Davis. Throwing downfield, this one incomplete. And it looks like he threw it intended for A.J. Johnson, a little bit behind him, and defending Cohen King. What a first quarter Cohen King had for the Cyclones.
He did, Mark, absolutely. Did a good defensive play right there, covering A.J. Johnson, who's not an easy man to cover out of that backfield.
No, I would say that A.J. is probably their number one go-to guy, isn't he?
He is, and now brings up 3rd and 3. See if Eastern View can sit there and, well, you know James Monroe's going to go for it on 2 here.
Well, trailing 30-0. 9:46 to play here in the second. 3 receivers to the right. 1 top of your screen. Here's Davis. Looking downfield, he's in trouble. Can he get away from it? And he throws. This one nearly picked off by Cohen King. Would have been his second pick of the night.
He was popped by number 6 for Eastern View, who is Garrett Robinson, who laid the hit on Davis. And now brings up 4th down. And now they're talking to the officials as they're flagging. I didn't see a flag on the play.
I didn't either, but they
Unless
are
it was a
conferring.
hold. It might be there is. Probably a hold against James Monroe because it looked like they're backing him up. And I would make him back up and repeat 3rd down because it's 3rd and 3. It would have been 4th and 3, and James Monroe would have gone for it.
Well, here it comes. Personal foul.
Tripping.
Oh, wow.
Against the Yellow Jackets.
That's a 15-yarder.
Yep, and I'd take it because even though it brings up be 4th and 3, James Monroe isn't going to go to punt, and you want him to make sure that his 15-yard puts him all the way back. Is he going to decline it?
Well, we're going to find out here in a minute. Here's the call. There's your personal foul for tripping. Oh, here it is. No, he didn't.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't decline this one.
Long 3rd down.
And that'll mark it back to the 41-yard line.
So now you got 3rd and 19.
19 yards to go here for the Yellow Jackets.
That was a good call right there.
All right. 4 receivers out there. Here's Zach Davis. Pump fake. Now he throws downfield. This one is closer to Noah Proctor than it is anyone else.
But that was a good drop, Mark, because it would have been, the punt probably wouldn't have gone that far. So, now it brings on a big punting situation. Eastern View gets the ball back on offense, and they hold after that interception.
So a big drop, you think, because it brings up a 4th and 19 from the 41 and a chance to perhaps get the ball into the hands of Diego Hunter off this punt?
And maybe go for the block punt again.
They do have one tonight, and the ball went into the end zone for the safety. And we were talking about how things went so well for Eastern View in the first quarter, and on the converse, so poorly for James Monroe. Here's Coghill standing inside his own 30. Here comes the pressure. He almost got to him. Here's Diego Hunter fielding it just shy of the 30-yard line, 35, 40, 45, cuts back, and they gang tackle him near midfield. And it takes a lot to bring him down. You would think that a little guy like that, with 4 or 5 players there, would be able to bring him down quicker, but there's a flag in the backfield where that punter was.
Is it going to be roughing or is it going to be running into the punter? We'll see what the call is. If it's running, it's only a 5-yard penalty. If it's roughing, it's 15 yard and it'll be 4th and 4.
I think he's saying 5.
Yep.
Let's see what it is here.
It's
Running
gonna be
into?
Yep.
That's a good point. That's a crucial
But you can make him
distinction.
take the penalty, though, and re-kick it, though. And
Well, 4th and 14 is more manageable, so you might go.
yeah,
a little bit of humor in the press box. I think it would be dry humor.
but
Don't you think?
And they're going to make him punt it again.
Okay, so they mark it off to the 46, so it's a 5-yarder there.
Yeah,
So it would be 4th and 14. All right, the punter is senior Chris Coghill. Checking into the game is number 44, Charlie Fry. Now they come to the line of scrimmage. James Monroe trailing 30-0. Coghill will kick this one away inside his 35-yard line.
Good snap. And a booming end over end
Here's a
kick
kick
out of the 22.
that bounces out of bounds inside the 20-yard line, so the punter did his job. He kicked away from Diego Hunter, and he angled it to where, and it took a good bounce as Eastern View was backed up.
Well, Eastern View would have gotten the ball at the 50 right around the midfield on that punt return for Diego Hunter if it wasn't. But the running into the punter was 5 yards against Eastern View. So then James Monroe re-punted, and that was a good move. And look at the field position that they gained by doing that. And now Eastern View is operating on their 1st and 10 from their own 22-yard line.
Be more like the 11.
11, excuse me. It's almost like Broman Field, Field.
Yeah, it takes a little effort.
Yeah.
Here's Diego Hunter on the end around. Can't find anywhere to go. Good swarming defense that time by the Yellow Jackets. They've played a little better here in the second quarter on defense, haven't they?
Well, Mark, I think they made a little bit of an adjustment. It's kind of got Eastern View a little confused. But I think also pride, too. James Monroe don't want to go down trailing by over 35 points, and Eastern View gets a running clock. Eastern View's had a running clock for every game they played so far this season, starting the second half.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they're playing a little bit. They just don't want Eastern View to get in the score here.
Well, he lost 6 yards on the play. It's 2nd and 16, and Lowry's going to keep it. He gets it back, those lost yardage, and much more as he got into the open field, and he'll have a first down as he got to the 35-yard line. How about that play call going with Lowry on the run?
I like that play call, Mark, because James Monroe is keying on Trey Holmes or Diego Hunter. So that's what the defense. So Matt Lowry, good call by Coach Hatfield and his staff, offensive coordinator for Eastern View, is Brent Thomas. Good call right there because that keeps the defense, because Matt can run the football.
On the 2nd and 16 from their own 5, Lowry ran it for 30 to the 35. They go back to the run, and a couple of yards on the play before they was all the ball carrier could get that time, and that was Trey Holmes. He has a 41-yard touchdown run tonight, and he has reached that 1,000-yard plateau, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. And Mark, they were just like I said, they're keying on Holmes and watching Diego Hunter. I think you're going to have to see more of a passing game to Zach Thomas, and also Matt Lowry stepping up in the run game.
All right. Ball at the 37 of Eastern View. It's 2nd down and 8 for the Cyclones. Clock running, 7:35 to play. Second quarter action, 30-0. Play action. Here's a throw to Thomas on the slant. Zach Thomas. James Monroe territory, just shy of the 40-yard line.
And that's what you got to see, Mark, right there. As I said, get Zach Thomas to step up, especially with that slant pass.
And that would be a pickup of 22 yards on the pass play. No huddle Cyclones. Matt Lowry, the quarterback. Trey Holmes back there with him. And they go to Holmes straight ahead. Holmes has got running room down to the 30-yard line. A pickup of 11 yards. Now the Cyclones are doing what they were doing in that first quarter, establishing that running game. And, of course, a couple neat passes from Lowry, including tonight to Zach Thomas. And a good run by Lowry on this drive. Remember, Eastern View started this drive on 11. They've moved it out to the James Monroe 30 now.
Yeah, in the first play, they lost 5 yards on the run, too.
They did. Here's a short pickup by Jalen Veeney.
It's going to be against Eastern View. Somebody started a little bit early. It's going to be 5 yards.
It almost seemed odd to say that on first down from the 11 that Diego Hunter actually lost 6 yards on the carry. I mean, how many times would you say that in a season? Once, maybe?
So then, really they started from the 6.
Mm-hmm. And then, you had the 30-yard run by Lowry, the quarterback, for a first down, and they've moved it down to the James Monroe 30.
And it's no flag. The officials
waved it
picked
off.
up the flag. They waved it off.
All right, 2nd down and 10 here.
But, good play calling by Eastern View because they saw that James Monroe was really pinning their ears back and trying to run blitz, and now they've had some good play calls with Matt Lowry running the football and throwing.
All right. Here's Lowry again running. He's got some running room. Watch out. He'll have first down yardage and more. Well, you were talking about the continuously running clock. You have to have a 35-point lead, at least 35 points. And the way they're driving right now, they may get that. And not only that, Steve, when we start the third quarter, Eastern View gets the football.
Eastern View gets the football. If they score here, they'll have a running clock. So, and you got to be impressed the way Eastern View is played this season. They're a balanced football team. It's just that, we'll talk more about in the second half, the playoff picture situation just doesn't look good for Eastern View the way it's shaping up.
And it's almost ironic when you think about what a season they've had.
Timeout on the field.
Looks like Eastern View has called a timeout. When they call a timeout, we'll tell you that we have 6 minutes and 37 seconds to play in the second quarter. And on this drive, Steve, it seems to me like the keys have been the two big runs by Lowry and his pass to Zach Thomas.
Absolutely.
And so this was a drive that started on their own 11 for the Cyclones. They've moved it down to the 14-yard line where it's 1st and 10 now. They call a timeout to talk about this one. We have 6. We haven't reached the midway point of the second quarter, and the Cyclones lead by 30 points, 30-0. And, of course, if they score here and James Monroe doesn't score in the second quarter, then we're going to have a continuously running clock to start the second half.
Yep. And that's what Eastern View wants, Mark, and the juggernaut rolls on. But, it's going to be interesting, not to get ahead of themselves. I mean, they've got this game obviously in their hand, barring a miracle in the second half. But, they go and play against King George, and they win that. They're going to have their second unconsecutive season in a row.
Exactly. Here's the handoff, straight ahead and into the end zone. It is. Oh, is he short? Yeah, he is short. Okay, my mistake. He's down to a 1 from 13 yards out. That was Jalen Veeney.
Yep.
I think it's coming up in just a second.
I think you jumped ahead of himself.
I did. You got to get across that orange line there. Now it's 1st and goal from the 1.
1st and goal for the 1, and can you say
Trey Holmes?
Trey Holmes?
Maybe. Jalen Veeney's back there. Lowry's had big runs tonight. It's going to be play action, and Lowry's going to keep it. It's going to be hit hard. Is he in? He's near the goal line. No signal yet. James Monroe says, it's a fumble on the play. They turned it over to James Monroe. Not only did not get the touchdown, they turned it over to the Yellow Jackets.
And Eastern View is kind of incredulous. They thought he was down.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Hatfield is, they're talking right here, but the official said he took it away out of Lowry's hands.
A fumble right at the 1-yard line. Well, Lowry had the two big runs on this drive, and they go to him here on 1st and goal from the 1-yard line, and he turned it over. Big hit by the James Monroe defense.
Well, that was basically second effort on Matt Lowry. He's trying to stretch it, and he reached out, tried to pull it over and that's when they just took it right out of his hand. He didn't go to the ground. When you're falling to the ground, that's when you reach out, but he reached out still standing up like this, reached his hand out, and they just took it. It was like a handoff.
Yeah. All right, James Monroe off the turnover, back on offense, but from the 1-yard line. Here's the running back looking for a little bit of a crease there. Now they say they have a fumble, and coming up with it is Eastern View's number 9,
and they're
Paris Owen.
And they're saying no.
Oh, okay, now they're saying no.
The officials are saying no. He didn't take it now. I'm sitting here saying, look, I'm going, wait a minute. What happened on the first play, Mark? I mean, they took it out of Lowry's hand. They just did the same thing here, and they didn't call it.
All right. And have it at the 6-yard line. And it's 2nd down and 5. Interesting turn of events. A.J. Johnson, the ball carrier. He's going nowhere. In fact, they stuff him at the line of scrimmage. They've actually lost a yard on the play.
I think Eastern View is a little upset with that, don't you think?
Probably so.
I mean, they had the touchdown, and then they got taken away, and they thought they had a touchdown again on the fumble, and the official said no, it was dead ball. But, Coach Hatfield and staff were complaining that why wouldn't a dead ball on Lowry's carry?
Well, and Johnson lost a yard. Now it's 3rd and 6 from the 5. And so if you're James Monroe, you need a little breathing room here if you're going to have to punt.
Well, they didn't really. I don't think they're going to try to risk it, Mark, with that full house to go back into the pass formation. They're going to try to run it out of here.
They fake it to the first back, and then they give it to the second. He gets out to the 10-yard line. He's going to be a little shy of a first down. That was A.J. Johnson. He did give him a little breathing room. Ball right at the 10-yard line. He would be about a yard shy of a first down.
Now, if I were Eastern View, I'd go after the punt or punter, and then you drop Diego Hunter back. They can get the ball on offense, see if they can take it in to get that score.
Well, they had a block punt in the first quarter, resulted in a safety for Eastern View. And, of course, they've had the punt return, 85 yards for Diego Hunter as well for a touchdown. It would sound, based on that, it would sound like the Cyclones are in a win-win situation right here, don't you think, on 4th and 1?
Yep.
And Chris Coghill standing in his end zone.
But watch for the.
Well, here's a whistle and stoppage of play.
Timeout. Or no, delay of game against James Monroe.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was thinking.
So that's going to half the distance.
Right.
So instead of 4th and 1, now it's going to be 4th and 3.
Move it back to the 5. It would be 4th and 6.
4th and 6, okay.
So now that means the punter, Chris Coghill, a little deeper, standing in his own end zone. So do you bring the pressure, try to get the block, or you try to get the ball to Diego Hunter?
Name your poison.
Yeah. Well, we got movement on Eastern View's side this time. That was, I believe that was Cody Howard that jumped. Now it moves the ball back out 5 yards, which was our starting point.
Which was our starting point. You're right.
We'll give you 5, and we'll give you 5.
But watch it out right here. James Monroe might want to try to go for it here. I doubt it, but the Eastern View has got to jump in the gun. Watch for the direct snap.
Don't jump until the ball is snapped.
Yep.
Right? All right, here's the snap. Here comes the
And
pressure.
blocked.
It is blocked. And trying to fall on it. Looks like Eastern View has fallen on it, and that would be
A touchdown.
Cohen King. And I don't think there's anything ironic about that one. The second block punt. First one results in a safety, and the second one for the touchdown. You said pick your poison. You said go for the block, and that's exactly what they
They
did.
did, and it's a Cyclone touchdown. Now Eastern View's ahead 36-0, and now they're on for the point after.
That would be Garrett Hutchinson. The holder would be Zach Thomas. And if he connects, it'll be 37-0 with 3:37 to play here in the second quarter. The ball was at the 10-yard line on the punting situation, 4th and 1. And great pressure by the Cyclones. They got to the kicker. Second block punt. And things have gone quite nicely for the Cyclones here tonight. Hutchinson's kick is up and good. 37-0 our score with 3:37 to play here in the second quarter. What about this drive? This was one that started, James Monroe had it. Well, actually, Eastern View had driven from their own 11 down to the James Monroe 1-yard line. Well, it looked like they had a touchdown, and they were stopped when Lowry turned it over at the 1. And James Monroe just backed up at its own 1-yard line. Really couldn't really get any breathing room to speak up too much, and on 4th and 1, the block punt. So, Steve, your analysis of this first half so far, would you agree that there's not much that's gone wrong for Eastern View?
No, I mean, they've had a couple little hiccups, but how can you say hiccups when you're up 37-0 in the first half? But again, Eastern View, the juggernaut rolls on, and they're going to go into halftime with a 37-0 lead and a running clock if James Monroe doesn't score here, and with a running clock starting the second half.
Yeah, but there's going to be 3:37, so James Monroe could put together a drive. And, of course, we have the special teams play coming up here first. Here is Hutchinson's kick. This one gets by the return man into the end zone. Will have a touchback. So if James Monroe is going to score in this quarter, Steve, they're going to have to generate an 80-yard drive with 3:37 to play.
And, again, Eastern View is just playing lights-out football, Mark. They're playing good coverage on the defensive secondary, getting a good control on the line of scrimmage. And on offense, they're running the football very well and mixing it up. So.
All right, here comes the Yellow Jackets back on offense. Zach Davis, the quarterback, back to the gun. A.J. Johnson back there with him. They throw it short, incomplete, off the hands of the intended receiver there, Brandon Woolridge. 2nd and 10, 3:33 to play, second quarter action.
Well, what's happening right there, Mark? James Monroe, the quarterback's got to learn. He's got to put a little more touch on the ball. He's zinging it in there for only about 8 yards, and it's really hard for the receivers to grasp that football and catch it.
All right, 2nd and 10, Yellow Jackets from their own 20. Zach Davis back in the gun. 4 receivers set. A.J. Johnson back there with him. They fake it, and then they give it to Johnson straight ahead. He's got a little bit of running room, and he will have a first down as he gets across the 30-yard line. That'll move the sticks. He had to get to the 30 for the first down, and he got to the 31. They'll move the sticks, and James Monroe, a new set of downs.
And that play right there was just all A.J. Johnson. He just hid behind his blockers. He's very tough to bring down, small running back, and he picked up about 11 yards on that carry.
Sure did, and he's back there with his quarterback, Zach Davis. Clock running, 3:15 to play in the second. 37-0 our score in favor of the Cyclones. Here's the pitch, and it's fumbled, and Cohen King, once again, there on the spot. It was trying to toss it to A.J. Johnson. He lost it, and Johnson coming up a little gimpy there. Injured, holding his perhaps his left elbow.
Yeah, he got popped by King. What a game Cohen King's
Sure
having, Mark. Interception, then a punt block, recovery for touchdown, now a recovery for a fumble. I mean, he's just all over the field. What a game Cohen King's having. And it looks like A.J. Johnson for James Monroe, he got hit on that elbow trying to recover that ball. And now it's going to be Eastern View operating with about 3 minutes to go here in the first half on the James Monroe 27-yard line.
What a blow that would be to James Monroe if A.J. Johnson was hurt. He's really been their go-to guy.
Right.
All right, here's Matt Lowry and company operating from the 27. Trey Holmes, the ball carrier, right side. Here's Holmes, burst of speed. There's Holmes following his blocks. And he gets down close to the 5-yard line, it looks like, from here. We'll have to check that depending on the spot.
It looks like a yellow jacket, number 32, for James Monroe is coming off injured. And that would be...
Or did his helmet come off?
James Crowley.
Well, let's see where they have it. Well, they've marked it at the 5. Yeah, I got that one right, Steve.
Yep.
It's a little tricky picking up the yard line markers, but we're here. First and goal now from the 5. Trey Holmes, the ball carrier, is to the outside. Good pursuit that time by James Monroe's defenders. Number 21, Chase Sprout.
Try to get in there. They're definitely in field goal position, but they don't brings up second down.
I don't think they're thinking field goal, do you? No,
Yeah, I mean, you might want to work on it, maybe.
All right, so.
Second out and goal for the Cyclones.
All right, they've got it marked at the 4 now. Second and goal from that spot.
And see, I like when Eastern View lines up in the pro set with the I formation. That's when they get Trey Holmes a big head of steam, but they're not doing it now.
Well, they give it to Jalen Veeney, and Veeney straight ahead. Veeney fighting for extra yardage. It looks like he's in.
He is in. Mark.
Is he in? Let's make sure. I said it prematurely last time. 4 yards out, going to push it to 43-0. Here comes Steve Peacock.
And it's a Cyclone touchdown on the Veeney train. Jalen Veeney coming right up from about 4 yards out. Now puts Eastern View on top by a score of 43-0, and Garrett Robinson on for the point after.
What do you think about Chris Capella's prediction?
Hutchinson.
What do you think about Chris Capella's prediction?
He's Karnak, Mark. That's all I can say. I mean, he nailed it.
Well, of course, we still got a second half to play, but it's 43-0, and Garrett Hutchinson on to make it 44-0. Zach Thomas the holder, and a whistle to stop this one before the kick.
So some movement up front. Let's see what the... Everything's all silent here in the crowd.
Sure is. A few moments here tonight. Let's see.
I don't know what they're talking. I didn't see a flag.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. We just got a tidbit of news to pass on. Chris Capella says that Culpeper's down 21-7 in Manassas Park.
Oh my goodness.
Can you believe it?
Well, it doesn't surprise me.
All right. Here's the point after a try again. Hutchinson's kick is up and good. 44-0 our score with 2:11 to play in the second quarter.
If Culpeper gets upset by Manassas Park, Mark, they can kiss their playoff hopes goodbye.
I just would not have seen that one coming. Of course, they've got a lot of football left to play in that game, but I would have thought, if you'd asked me, that would have been probably one of the easiest games that Culpeper would play this season.
Well,
but I guess there really are no easy ones, are there?
Well, I still think they're still stinging from their probably have the hangover from that last week's loss when they thought they had it won. Minute 49 to go. They went up by a score of 14-13, then lose it in the last minute 49 and gave up 6, 7 plays to Brentsville, who really didn't pass the ball except once, and moved down the field in 5 plays and scored a touchdown. So, and scored 20 seconds left to go and took the wind out of Culpeper's sails, I think. But I think they got to regroup. They can beat Manassas Park, but it sounds like they probably had some mistakes in turnovers in that football game. So Eastern View's on for the kickoff, leading by 44-0.
Garrett Hutchinson's given his right foot a lot of work tonight, hasn't he?
Sure has.
Here's his kick. This one's going to go into the end zone for the touchback. A.J. Johnson, watch that one. So that means that A.J. Johnson wasn't shaken up too badly because was in the lineup there as a return man. So James Monroe will have it at its own 20 with 2 minutes and 11 seconds to play here in the second quarter, trailing 44-0.
And think how hard it is for football teams to move the ball against Eastern View. Because if you run it, they're stout against the run, their defense, and then with their secondary, Cohen King, Cameron Spangler, a name we haven't called very much, Spangler's name, Diego Hunter and company back there. I mean, they've just got athletes all over the field.
All right, here's Zach Davis throwing out there in the flat. He's got Brandon Woolridge, the receiver, and he will have, it looks like, a James Monroe first down. They mark it at the 30. That should be enough for a first down, unless it's shy of the 30.
It looks like
it is just shy, inches. It was 2nd and 1. There you're looking at the down marker and the yardstick there. 2nd down and 1, under center this time. This is Johnson, the ball carrier, first down yardage. Took a pretty big hit at the 35-yard line as 3 different Cyclones converged, including Cohen King. I mean, so many of these players have had a big game here in the first half, but Cohen King really stands, in my mind, at the forefront of players you have to mention here in the first half.
Yep. And, James Monroe is going to try to score here before halftime.
They have it 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Clock running, 1:35 to play in the second quarter. Back to the shotgun goes Zach Davis. Alongside him, A.J. Johnson. 4 receivers set. Here comes a pump fake. Here comes the pressure. Here's Davis. He's going to be sacked, slung to the ground by number 50. We got injured player there. That's number 17, isn't it?
Yeah, let's see who
the guy making the tackle was number 50.
He's grabbing his ankle. He got twisted ankle. Stepped on somebody's foot.
No, was it actually number 60 making the tackle? Now, who's the injured player?
17.
Oh, that's Brown, isn't it? No,
Zach
Brown.
Yep.
Injured player is Zach Brown. As they attend to him, we'll take a break. We'll come back when the action resumes. Keep it right here on the Culpeper Media Network.
Not everyone is an HVAC expert. Luckily, with 20 years of experience, Able Heating and Air can answer any and all questions you may have about your system. Peace of mind and knowledge that you made the right choice because they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
What do your clothes say about you? Well, if they were screen printed or embroidered at triple image, they can speak volumes. Originality, professionalism, experience. Your clothes can speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image. 829-1050. Battlefield Automotive is proud to continue support of our high school youth and the Culpeper community. Winner of the prestigious Ford President's Award for a record 13 consecutive years. Battlefield, Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford offers award-winning service and unprecedented selection of new and used vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community.
CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. Finding the right outerwear for the job is difficult. Luckily, you'll find Carhartt clothing, Red Wing, and Irish Setter boots. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center. Found in Sons Funeral Chapels has made it their business to provide solutions during difficult times for over a quarter of a century. During that time, they've also made an investment in our youth through football, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, skateboarding, and 4-H, among other projects. Good luck to tonight's teams and do your best. Every lifelong relationship starts with day one. At Virginia Community Bank, we'll talk about how you can bank with us for life. With 40-plus years of experience in Culpeper and beyond, it's our privilege to help clients achieve their goals, short-term, long-term, and everywhere in between. Bank with us anytime. Bank with us for a lifetime.
Welcome back to our broadcast. You're looking at the Cyclone player being assisted to the sidelines. It's number 17, Zach Brown.
The junior varsity field hockey team was
Junior.
champion with a 1-0 victory over
Steve, you were thinking right leg, right ankle, perhaps?
Yep. It looked like he twisted the ankle, Mark. Now we're going to see who takes his place.
For the first time since 2008.
Well,
So congrats
on that
to all
lost
those
yardage,
sports teams.
Cyclones
number
have lost
9.
a player.
Paris Owen.
Pardon me?
Paris Owen, number 9.
Okay. Here's Davis changing direction, pump fake again. He's hit. Cody Howard has it. No, make that number 6 rather. Garrett Robinson makes the tackle, and a good tackle to boot. And they're going to mark it back at the 25. You lost, or make it 26. You lost three more yards. Now we got 3rd and 16 coming up. Final minute of the second quarter. Clock. The seconds are ticking away. 50 seconds and counting.
And then Eastern Butte gets Serena back this week with his Drew Serena.
Drew.
Yeah, he had come off an injury with his ankle.
3rd and 16. Davis back under center. Handoff. A.J. Johnson. Not too far to go there. Big number 77 again. We've called his name tonight several times. Jeff Stallings, the sophomore, makes the tackle, and the final 20 seconds will be ticking off. And I don't know if they're going to get this punt off or not. They may just let this clock run down.
I think
or do they?
They're going to let it run down, Mark.
Yeah. I think that's what you would do. 10 seconds and counting. Johnny Krawchuk will focus on that scoreboard. There it is. State champions, 86, 87, 96, 2008. We've played one half here at Maury Stadium, home of the Yellow Jackets at James Monroe High School, where our score is Cyclones 44, Yellow Jackets nothing. We'll take a break. Before we do that, we'll look at those state championships. I always thought of James Monroe as a 3A or Division III power. They have been, but tonight they've been on the receiving end of a lot of power generated by Eastern View.
You got it, Mark.
All right, we'll take a break, come back for the third quarter. When we do, Eastern View will be receiving the third quarter kickoff. Stay tuned.
Not everyone is an HVAC expert. Luckily, with 20 years of experience, Able Heating and Air can answer any and all questions you may have about your system. Peace of mind and knowledge that you made the right choice because they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
What do your clothes say about you? Well, if they were screen printed or embroidered at triple image, they can speak volumes. Originality, professionalism, experience. Your clothes can speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image. 829-1050. Battlefield Automotive is proud to continue support of our high school youth and the Culpeper community. Winner of the prestigious Ford President's Award for a record 13 consecutive years. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford offers award-winning service and unprecedented selection of new and used vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community.
CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. Finding the right outerwear for the job is difficult. Luckily, you'll find Carhartt clothing, Red Wing, and Irish Setter boots. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center. Found in Sons Funeral Chapels has made it their business to provide solutions during difficult times for over a quarter of a century. During that time, they've also made an investment in our youth through football, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, skateboarding, and 4-H, among other projects. Good luck to tonight's teams and do your best. Every lifelong relationship starts with day one. At Virginia Community Bank, we'll talk about how you can bank with us for life. With 40-plus years of experience in Culpeper and beyond, it's our privilege to help clients achieve their goals, short-term, long-term, and everywhere in between. Bank with us anytime. Bank with us for a lifetime.
Welcome back to our broadcast. It's halftime here at Maury Stadium in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Mark O'Connell now joined by Chris Capella. Chris, great to see you as always. We don't have a lot of time, so give me your first half analysis.
Easterview came out of the gates flying, as they have all season now, running the ball really well, which is pretty expected at this point, especially with the way their offense is designed, the way that James Monroe has struggled against the run, especially like you guys noted in your pregame show against Zen White last week from Cortland. So I think kind of as scheduled, a little bit of a hiccup in the second quarter, maybe their sloppiest quarter of the season, but when you look big picture, I think that's probably a good thing for Eastern View, who's undefeated and probably going to be by the end of this night, barring a ridiculous comeback.
Right, and then we'll have King George next week. If they defeat them the second season in a row, that the Cyclones would go perfect 10-0 regular season. Of course, we're not there yet, and anything can happen here in the second half. But we'll have a continuously running clock to start things, and Eastern View on offense. You made an interesting point earlier. We were talking, if you were coaching against Eastern View, how would you attack them on defense?
Well, I think we've seen tonight Noah Proctor, as the second cornerback on this team, gave up a few potential big pass plays. He got beat going down the sideline on some fly routes. I hate to call out one kid, but that's just kind of how the game is developed, and we've seen this a little bit throughout the season. You guys did a game at Turner Ashby where Turner Ashby hit on a big play and just missed on a few others. If I was coaching against Eastern View and I had to game plan against this team on the offensive end, at least, I'd probably go with some mass protections, because this Eastern View defensive line and linebacking core is very good at getting to the quarterback. And I would take some shots downfield pretty consistently, because I think that's, if there's one weakness to this Eastern View defense, that might be it.
So you're talking about pass defense?
Yeah, I that's probably what I would go for. I'd take some shots down the field. I mean, we saw Zach Davis, who struggled in this game. He probably should have connected on two big pass plays in this one. Instead, one was probably a poor adjustment by the wide receiver. The other one was an overthrow, but the passes are there, and that's when Eastern View is going to go to tape. Coach Greg Hatfield always says, we are competing against ourselves when we look at tape. We want to play to the best of our ability. We know what we're capable of. That's what he's going to look at and say, that's got to get corrected, because they're going to play some good football teams in the playoffs, and quarterbacks are going to make those throws.
Right, and the 4A is loaded in both regions with great teams. Now, Steve and I talked about the stellar play of Cohen King in the first half. How did you see it? He's
one of the better special teams players I've seen in a long time. He's in on every special teams tackle, and that's not to take away from what he brings defensively, but I just wanted to point that out. And, yeah, he's been great at safety. He comes up. This is his first year playing football since 9th grade. He's very physical. He's a playmaker. He's very athletic. This is a guy who was an all-state jumper in track this past year. He's a great athlete, and he's got a great attitude when he's on the field. Just a really, I mean, where do they find these guys? This guy hasn't played football for 3 years. He comes back his senior season. He's got an interception, a fumble recovery. He's made 2 or 3 special teams tackles. Just an outstanding football player.
And, you know, when we start the second half, Eastern View will be receiving the kickoff up 44-0. So, Chris, thanks for joining us. Before you go, I wanted to say kudos to your excellent prognostication ability this year, because your previews are always so close to being on the money with these predictions. And you had Eastern View winning, 52-7 tonight?
56,
56 to 7,
yeah,
wow.
Somewhere around that.
You're looking pretty good right now.
Well, if you're Eastern View, you're not too worried about the score. You want to stay healthy. That Zach Brown injury, maybe something we talk about next week or in the next coming weeks. But
exactly, and I know after the game, you're going to want to find out the extent of Zach Brown's injury.
Of course, and I'll have it all on goodoldStarExponent.com.
Yes, you will. Okay, great to see you. Keep up the good work.
Thanks,
all
guys.
Right.
Have a good second half.
Okay. All right, well, that was Chris Capello, everyone, with his insight for the first half. And Steve and I were talking about how that first quarter especially, where everything that could have gone well for the Cyclones did, and on the converse, everything that could have gone poorly for James Monroe did as well. Second quarter, however, despite the score, Steve Peacock, 44-0, despite the score, there were a few hiccups with this Eastern View team in the second quarter. Some things that, you know, Coach Hatfield's going to be concerned about as you get deeper into the season.
Yeah, I mean, you are marking, but again, how can you complain too much down 44-0? So, I mean, yeah, there are a couple hiccups, the fumble at the 1-yard line, and a couple penalties in opportune times. But again, they pretty much kept everybody in check, and now they're up 44-0. So. And
they get the second half kickoff as well. So let's highlight some of that first half. I was talking to Chris about how Cohen King really stood out. How about the play of number 77, Jeff Stallings, Diego Hunter, Matt Lowry with a couple key runs. Zach Thomas. It seems like
Trey
Trey Holmes.
Yeah.
How would you forget him?
Yeah.
I mean, just a slew of players.
And he went over 1,000 yards this season, and now, like I said, we're going to see a running clock. We're going to see a running clock, and what's going to happen is that no stoppage on plays and balls out of bounds, only on penalties and timeouts.
So, Steve, is it fair to say that James Monroe dresses as though they're the Halloween team? Look at this. This is black and orange. The two most popular colors
Miguel Hernandez on the
for
field
Halloween,
for the
black
kickoff.
and orange. And kicking off,
Second half is
Miguel Hernandez for James Monroe. This kick sends Diego Hunter back to the 1 yard line. He's across the 10, 15, straight ahead, 20, 30, 40. Breaks a tackle, crosses midfield. Diego Hunter is finally going to run out of real estate, and they may have tackled him late on the sidelines, and maybe not. But what a terrific return from the 1 yard line all the way out to the 47 of James Monroe for a 60-yard return.
Yeah, it was a great return, Mark. I thought he was going to break it all the way, but James Monroe had a good angle on him, and the Academy pinned him to the sideline. That could have been a late hit on the sideline. He was out of bounds, but they didn't call it. And now Eastern View is going to get a good operating position to start this third quarter with a continuous running clock.
And it was a 56-yard return by Diego Hunter. Line of scrimmage, the 45 of James Monroe. And already, James Monroe at a great disadvantage here as they start the third quarter. They're already down 44-0. And Eastern View's offense, potent offense, we should add, starts with field position on the James Monroe side of midfield. And Trey Holmes gets the ball carried to start things. Tries to get the outside and does. And they drag him down from behind after he got inside the 35-yard line for a first down for Eastern View.
First down. Trey Holmes.
Picked up 12 yards on the play. They mark it at the 33. And you talked about a continuously running clock because of that 35-plus point differential in the game. 44-0.
That means when the ball goes out of bounds, the clock won't stop. It won't stop on the officials and change of possession and injuries.
This is Jalen Veeney this time. Reversing direction, makes that cut. He's at 30. And he was shy of the 25-yard line. Up to the 28. That would be a pickup of 5, and 2nd and 5 coming up. And again, this one's keep your eye on that clock, or at least check it periodically, Steve, because this one's probably going to get away from us.
Yeah, I mean, this will go quick with that running clock.
So as we look ahead.
And Eastern View isn't going to be in any hurry either.
Right. Steve, how good do you think King George is this season? What kind of threat do you think they pose to Eastern View next week?
Not much, because they haven't had a big season either. So it's not been a good season for King George.
All right, here's Lowry in trouble, and he does a good job of throwing it, gets rid of it in the direction of Jalen Veeney. The pressure came, and did a good job of getting rid of the ball. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 5 for the Cyclones from the Yellow Jacket 28-yard line. 10:20 to play, clock ticking, third quarter action. 44-0 is our score. It's been all Cyclones, although James Monroe played a little better late in that second quarter.
I did too. I thought you saw some flashes on defense that they might have been able to make a game of it. But again, they were able to weather that little storm, and right now, like I said, they're in control of the ball game.
Here is Trey Holmes. Trey Holmes gets behind his blockers, has first down yardage and more. What a great job of reading the blocks and staying behind them. And there at the end was Kyle Smith out there, number 75. And they congratulate each other because you know what? They know they needed each other in that play.
Well, that tells you how big and good athlete Kyle Smith is, and he's wanted by a lot of some Division I programs because he led the way, as big as he was, and Trey Holmes wasn't out running him.
Yeah,
and he was out there running and paving the way, and that's why he's a sleeper Division I pick, Mark.
Yeah, and he got about 19 yards on the play. And mark it at the 9. Let's call it 1st and goal from there. They fake it to Holmes. Here's Lowry keeping it, and he gets down to about the 5. He picks up
about 5 yards. About 5 yards, Mark. And again, that's just and Coach Hatfield, this isn't trying to run up the score or anything like this. But when you got your opponents, you got your opponent down, you keep them down. You don't let them back in the ball game.
Well, and you're starting this drive on their 45-yard line. Here's a handoff and a penalty flag down as Trey Holmes stopped for negative yardage, probably for the first time tonight. It's a legal shift against Eastern View that'll cost them 5 yards.
It looks like Trey might have got a little shaken up on that play, but he looks like he's okay. But it's going to knock Eastern View back by 5 yards.
Well, Steve, at what point do you think they say, okay, Trey Holmes, Jalen Veeney, your job is done tonight, and bring in other people? Like, for example, Noah Proctor is in there. Do you think he'll start getting some reps as the ball carrier?
Yeah. And see, the clock will stop on a penalty.
Sure. And they move it back to the 11-yard line.
And he starts it right back up.
Second and goal now from the 11.
8 yards to go here.
And I don't think Eastern View will go for a field goal here. I think they'll try to punch it in on 2.
Yeah, you would think so. Jalen Veeney back there. He's the ball carrier straight ahead. There goes Veeney. Veeney lowers his shoulder. It looks like he's going to be stopped just shy of the goal line, down to about the 1. You notice I didn't get premature with that one, Steve.
And he got
like I did earlier.
Down, but he's got first and goal mark from the 1. So, he got 4 tries. And it looks like Jalen's coming off a little bit shaken up.
Well, I was mistaken, and I was wrong that it was first and goal. They could have actually gotten a first down without having to score. They have a new set of downs here. Yeah.
And Jalen looks like he's shaking up a little bit. And it might be seeing all.
Let's call it the 2. Quarterback throwing for the end zone. Over here in the corner for Zach Thomas. Incomplete.
They're just trying to do a fade pass back there to Zach Thomas. But they look like, I look at Jalen Wheeler in the sideline. They're trying to do his leg. I don't know if it's his ankle or maybe might be a cramp, but it's getting cool now, so cramps usually aren't a problem.
You say Veeney?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it is. You're right. 24. Good job, Johnny, zeroing in on that. It is Jalen Veeney.
I think he got stepped on, Mark.
That's possible.
His foot.
Yeah. All right. Second and goal now from the 2.
And I would say Trey Holmes just power him right up in the middle.
Well, he's back there. They snap it to Lowry. He runs for it. He dives for the end zone. And is he in?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. From 2 yards out, 50-0.
And the storm siren is sounding loud and proud. It's a Cyclone touchdown from 2 yards out.
50-0 with 7:14 to play here in the first quarter. Now, this was the opening drive of the third. If it seemed like it consumed a lot of time, it's because of the continuously running clock and the short working field for the Cyclones, who started on the James Monroe 45-yard line. And 10 plays, 45 yards, capped by a 2-yard touchdown run by Matt Lowry. Hutchinson's point after is up and good. Our score, 51-0. All of a sudden, Chris Capella's prediction of 56-7 looks pretty good.
It really looks good. 51-0 right now.
Well, let me ask you this. When was the last time you recall James Monroe, which has traditionally been a very strong football team, losing in such lopsided fashion?
I can't recall, Mark. I'm trying to think in the last 40 years. I played 40 years ago, and we beat them right here on this field. They won the Battlefield District then. They were undefeated, but we came in with Culpeper and beat them 12-7 and knocked them. And that was back then when not all the teams played the playoffs. And we knocked them out of the Battlefield District playoff because they were battling Spotsylvania, and Spotsylvania took the district that year. And James Monroe didn't go to the playoffs. So what I'm saying is, score-wise, 40 years, I don't think I recall ever beating the James Monroe team beating this bad.
And then they've been so well coached through these, too. Tell me about Rich Survey and how long you think he's been there at James Monroe. It seems like he's been there, I don't know, 30
some odd
30 years. Yeah.
He came in the late 80s. So
that's about the time I moved to the area. And he's the only coach I remember being at James Monroe since I've been in the area. Here's a kick taken at the 15-yard line across the 20, approaching the 25. Here comes the pursuit on the Eastern View special teams. They knock him out of bounds near the 30. The return man there, number 7, Aiden Ryan.
Aiden Ryan on the return out to.
So now, like I said, now When they reset the line of scrimmage here,
Mm-hmm.
the clock will continue to run.
2-yard line, 1st and 10.
James Monroe
Yellow Jackets.
on its own 32. Well, you're looking at Rich Survey and the coach, some of his players. Now the clock resumes running. We are under the 7-minute mark here in the third quarter. Zach Davis, the quarterback of James Monroe, under center. I formation behind him this time. Handoff, Johnson. And he's greeted by 2 or 3 Cyclones as he approached the 35-yard line. Into the tackle was Jacob Ashwell, linebacker. We had an injury to Zach Brown late in the second quarter. We don't know his status. Chris Capello will find out, of course.
Arizona, number 9, took a spot, and it doesn't look like Easterview misses a beat. I mean, he's listed 6-foot junior, 225 mark. That's a big linebacker. That's a good-sized linebacker.
Yeah, like Zach Brown, a junior. All right, from the 35-yard line, it's 2nd and 7. Approaching the midway mark of this third quarter. Zach Davis back in the gun. And spread it out. He looked to his right, he rolled to his right, he kept it, and he was tackled near the line of scrimmage, I believe. Number 59 and number 60. That would be Avery Seitz and David Level.
And number 9, too.
Number 9, okay. Yeah, you were just mentioning him. Yeah. Stopped him for no gain on the play. That'll bring up 3rd down and 7. Clock running, 5:40 and counting here in the third quarter. Remember, it's going to go quickly. They don't stop it very often, do they?
No, not on out of bounds on it when it's a running clock. The only time they stop it is on change of possession, point afters and official timeouts.
Well, one of the things that you and I were talking about, Steve, before the half was that we would probably want to take a look at the playoff scenario when we can. Here's a pump fake by Davis, looking for a receiver. Here comes some pressure, and he's not going to get away from the takedown made by number 77, Jeff Stallings. Tossed him to his back.
And that's a legal play. That's not a dirty play.
Slam, right.
Not a slam. He just took it and brought him down. And,
right at he lost 10 yards on the play, and it'll bring up 4th and 17. Well, we signaled out Jeff Stallings several times tonight, haven't we?
He's had a big ball game, Mark, and he's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Now, Kyle Smith's a senior, but Stallings is a sophomore, as you pointed out.
I mean, they're going to lose Diego Hunter. They're going to lose Kyle Smith. But, and Trey Holmes, is he a senior or a junior?
Trey Holmes on the roster as a junior.
Yeah, see, they don't lose many seniors.
Cohen King's a senior.
Cohen King, they use one of the Spanglers.
Cody Howard, Jacob Asheville, Garrett Robinson, all seniors. And looks like this is Brandon Woolridge this time back there to punt. Here's Diego Hunter on the run. Takes it at about his own 45, and he gets down to the James Monroe 40 for a 15-yard punt return. And once again, Eastern View's offense, for the second time in as many tries, will start on the Monroe side of midfield.
And Mark, you're talking about the playoff pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, Eastern View is going to, Charlottesville is getting killed by Louisa. I don't know whether Dinwiddie score or the Monacan score, but again, Eastern View is ranked number 4 in Division 4, Region B, I believe. And but they've got 3 other teams, and they're not going to really pretty much, because of power ratings and points, aren't going to be able to really get higher than 4th unless a team above them loses.
Mm-hmm.
So the 5th team is Midlothian. If it played out, the playoffs ended today,
mm-hmm.
Eastern View would host a first-round home playoff game against Midlothian.
Right.
They win that game, but then they play the winner of the number 1 and number 8 seed. Well,
right.
Number 1 is Dinwiddie, who
right.
lost in the state championship to your Salem Spartans last year, but then beat Salem this year,
right? Regular season.
And they've got division signees, all prospects all over their roster,
mm-hmm.
and they are a big, tough team.
Well, we assume the top 4 seeds would likely win, and that would mean in the second round then, your number 4 would get number 1.
Right.
Here's Lowry on the keeper, straight ahead, not much doing. They're going to stop him near the line of scrimmage.
And as you know, one and done with the playoffs. What concerns me about Eastern View is that they have not been tested during the regular season.
Right.
At all. I mean, they're averaging score of 56 points a game, giving up an average of 9 points coming into this contest.
Right.
James Monroe hadn't even only crossed midfield a couple times.
Right.
So, Eastern View is a real good team, but the Division IV is just loaded.
It really is in both regions,
Yep.
isn't it? All right, here's 3rd and 1. Down to 2:25 and counting. Here is Diego Hunter, first down yardage and more. Hunter in the open field. This is where he goes to work. He picks up a block, and then he gets into the end zone from 31 yards out.
And the sirens are really sounding now. That's Diego Hunter, Cyclone touchdown.
57-0 our score with 2:14 to play. Steve, he picked up a great block out there from one of his receivers, which really propelled him into the end zone untouched, didn't it?
It did, and then he made a good cutback and just cruised right into the end zone.
57-0 our score with 2:14 to play, and Hutchinson on for the point after. Zach Thomas, the holder, and Thomas has been known to make some key downfield blocks for this team, hasn't
He sure has, and it's and I'm looking on the sideline right straight across, and they got ice on Jalen Beanie's ankle. Looks like he twisted that ankle. Mark and
point after good, 58-0. So we have a couple players, Steve, Jalen Veeney and Zach Brown, to be concerned about.
Yeah, both of them got. Zach's got a ice wrap on his knee. Jalen's got his ankle, so a couple injuries, and of course Coach Hatfield's mentality is next man up. But unless they have a miraculous recovery, I really don't see them playing next week against King George. And why would you? Play. You just it's not going to change your playoff seedings, and then turn around and rest them up for the first round of the playoffs.
And then, do you think we're going to see a whole bunch of these reserves getting into this game here shortly?
I would probably at the fourth quarter you would see it.
58-0 our score with 2:14 to play.
There you go.
Yeah, there he is. He's got the ice on the left leg.
Left leg. It might be the calf.
Right, exactly. That's where the bulk of that ice is, yeah.
He could have got a calf, could have got stepped on the calf in there in the end zone when he scored that touchdown. He could have got stepped on. So
I think we're going to see probably pretty soon one of my favorite new players, freshman Tanner Roca. Remember him?
Yep,
number 30? Right. Here's the kickoff. This one's going to be taken at the 15-yard line. Now across the 20, 25, and wrestled to the ground was the return man there, Sean Smith. And this broadcast is made possible by Virginia Community Bank, your bank of tomorrow and every day after. Virginia Community Bank, banking for life at 829-6034.
So as soon as the officials will start the clock, as soon as the ball's set, and there it is.
From the 27.
And I'm sure James Monroe would rather have the game ended at the third quarter.
Well, Zach Thomas under center. Hand off to the lead back straight ahead and bullying his way out to the 35-yard line was Kamarja Conaway. Interesting name, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a compact runner.
And they have him on the official program as KJ Conaway rather than Kamarja.
Oh, okay.
But in any event, straight ahead, out across the 35 to the 36.
We got some new players in on the defensive front, Mark. New players.
Yeah, we'll try to pick those up as we can for you. This clock moving and everything will be a little difficult. They go back to Conway, the ball carrier. He'll have a first down. He got across the 40, out to the 41. He picked up 5 yards. We're down to 1:08 and counting here in the third quarter. Our score, 58-0 Eastern View. Yes, it's a blowout. And in that first half, Eastern View had things going their way. They scored just about in every imaginable way. They had the safety, had a block punt for a touchdown. They had a punt return for a touchdown. They had touchdown runs, passes. They were doing it all.
Of course,
all right.
I see some of the defensive players over there lobbying Coach Hatfield. They want to go back in there because they don't want to. They want to preserve the shutout.
Here is on the reverse was Zane Austin, and he got out to the 45. That's about it. They were trying to catch the Cyclones a little off guard there.
You got number 7 out there is Jacob Ashwell, linebacker spot. 21 in there is Aaron Henson.
Well, that's a new name.
Number 2, or only Cameron Spangler, but.
And of course Ashwell's a starter.
Yep. Number 15.
Okay.
Is Blake Leak.
All right, that's the first time we've called his name.
Yep.
2nd and 5. This is Johnson. First, I'll make that actually number 23, KJ Conway. Eastern View 44-yard line.
You got your Jamie Guerrero, number 40, is in there. And that's the quarter.
Oh, wow. Got away from him. End of the third quarter here at Maury Stadium. Our score, Cyclones 58, Yellow Jackets nothing. Let's take a quick break. Come back for the fourth. Stay tuned.
Not everyone is an HVAC expert. Luckily, with 20 years of experience, Able Heating and Air can answer any and all questions you may have about your system. Peace of mind and knowledge that you made the right choice because they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
What do your clothes say about you? Well, if they were screen printed or embroidered at triple image, they can speak volumes. Originality, professionalism, experience. Your clothes can speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image. 829-1050. Battlefield Automotive is proud to continue support of our high school youth and the Culpeper community. Winner of the prestigious Ford President's Award for a record 13 consecutive years. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford offers award-winning service and unprecedented selection of new and used vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community.
CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. Finding the right outerwear for the job is difficult. Luckily, you'll find Carhartt clothing, Red Wing, and Irish Setter boots. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center. Found in Sons Funeral Chapels has made it their business to provide solutions during difficult times for over a quarter of a century. During that time, they've also made an investment in our youth through football, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, skateboarding, and 4-H, among other projects. Good luck to tonight's teams and do your best. Every lifelong relationship starts with day one. At Virginia Community Bank, we'll talk about how you can bank with us for life. With 40-plus years of experience in Culpeper and beyond, it's our privilege to help clients achieve their goals, short-term, long-term, and everywhere in between. Bank with us anytime. Bank with us for a lifetime.
Welcome back to our broadcast into the fourth and final quarter, which shows James Monroe starting on offense, 1st and 10 from the Cyclone 44 as we start the fourth quarter. And we have a timeout here. And we'll tell you this broadcast is made possible by Able Heating and Air. There's peace of mind knowing they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air at 718-7556. And so we're talking about the two injured players tonight, shaking up with ice on the leg. Jalen Veeney, Zach Brown. And we'll know more about their status this weekend, I guess, when we can get a report.
But if they don't need him against King George, Mark, I wouldn't play him.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rest him, let him, be ready for the opening round of the playoffs. And then we were at halftime. Now let's speak about Culpeper.
Sure.
Culpeper was down in Manassas Park, 21-7. And Manassas Park hadn't won a game, and
not good.
Not good. No, I think they did win one game. I'm trying to think who Manassas Park beat.
Well, let's come back to it in just a second, Steve. As we resume play here at the 44-yard line. Play action now. Davis going downfield, long, incomplete. Pretty good coverage out there.
Also incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 coming up. And was trying to pick up the defender there who was in coverage. Here he is. Oh, that's Noah Proctor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
so, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so anyway, Manassas Park wasn't very good. They're in the last place. Mm-hmm. And now they're beating Culpeper 21-7. And Culpeper's 2-6. And if they but their Division III, Region B that James Monroe in is a weak region. When you got a magnet school, Thomas Jefferson leading the pack, then James Monroe came in here as a 3rd seed behind Spotsylvania. And Culpeper was listed as a 6th seed, but if they lose tonight, Culpeper is going to have a real tough time trying to make that top 8.
Yeah, A.J. Johnson, the ball carrier, shy of the 40-yard line. Going to bring up 3rd down. Don't you think it's a little bit ironic, for lack of a better word, that despite the seasons that Eastview and Culpeper are having, that conceivably Culpeper could have a better second-round draw if they won the first than Eastern View?
Absolutely.
Because they're going to likely, if things say they are, they would get Dinwiddie in the second round.
Right.
Yeah.
Eastern View. And Culpeper could get James Monroe or Spotsylvania in the second round. So, but you got Warren County and Skyline, two teams Culpeper's already beaten ahead of them.
Right. We got movement in the backfield. That'll cost the Yellow Jackets 5 yards. Jumping the gun back there, K.J. Conway.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, just an interesting scenario that could play out when you think about the seasons both teams are having, that there's a dose of irony there. But, you know, that's just the way it is. I mean, because like we've talked about all season long, I mean, 4A is probably as loaded as any of the classifications, right?
Oh, yeah, I agree. I mean, around here, between the sides, Eastern View and the Freelance Star Power Poll, the only Colonial Forge is above Eastern View, and they're undefeated tonight, and they got who are they playing?
No, they're 6A, right?
Yep, they're
Yeah.
6A.
Mm-hmm. And the coach there?
Bill Brown.
Still Bill Brown, yeah. Zach Davis handing off. This is A.J. Johnson.
And Colonial Forge has got Mountain View tonight, Coach Louis Sorrentino.
I'm sorry?
And Colonial Forge is playing Mountain View tonight.
That's Coach Sorrentino's team,
Yeah.
right?
But, yeah, it seems like Colonial Forge has got, is one of the top teams in 6A. But again, what hurts Eastern View is they're trying to get teams to play them. I've heard both sides that teams don't want to play Eastern View, or that Eastern View don't want to schedule any teams over here from the Stafford area. But it's like, a lot of teams don't want to play Eastern View.
All right, here on fourth down. Here's a delayed handoff to A.J. Johnson. Got inside the 40.
It's a scrum. Looks like a rugby
Yeah, it did. Scrum. And not enough yardage for the first down, so James Monroe will turn it over on downs. That'll stop the clock until they reset it with 9:09 to play. Something I was going to say, Steve. Forgot now what it was. Hate it when that happens.
Hate when we're getting old, didn't it?
Yeah, it'll come to me tonight about 2 o'clock in the morning. It'll be too late to call you, won't it?
Dang.
I know. I could text you, but you'll probably be asleep, won't you?
Yeah, well,
I don't know. When I come home from a game, I'm so wired up. It's hard to fall asleep.
Well, I come home and watch Friday Night Fury on Channel 29 out of Charlottesville, get all the high school scores, and, get something to snack on. Shouldn't do that, but I do. And then I usually roll into bed about 12:30. But you're right. I just can't come home and go to sleep.
Well, we will have a new quarterback in there for Eastern View. And the ball carrier is a player we haven't called tonight, number 41. Let's check that. 41, Steve.
41 is, I don't have the number.
No, he's not in the program either.
We got a phantom.
So it's official. We do have a phantom player tonight.
And he got Blake Leake, number 15, in the quarterback. Or is that Till Butler?
Well, wait a minute. Let's pick up the number. Well, I know we got a new one. It's 15.
Is it 15 or 19?
19 would be Till Butler. What number do you get? 19. Okay, good eye. Till Butler.
Yeah, he's coming back from that broken collarbone.
This is his first rep of the season, then, isn't it?
Yeah, and him and Matt Lowry were head neck and neck, Mark. And for the number one quarterback position till Till Butler broke his collarbone in a scrimmage and had some surgery, and now he's just coming back, and he's listed as the backup quarterback.
Yeah, so this is our first look at Till Butler, and we didn't know when he would be coming back. Well, we get the answer tonight, don't we, here late in the game. 7 minutes and 30 seconds, clock ticking away. Here in the fourth quarter, it's been all Eastern View, 58-0, and the reserves are in, including Till Butler. 41 to Eli Harris.
There's Till Butler there.
Here's the handoff. It's it's number 15. It's
Blake Leake.
Blake Leake. Well, we are getting some new names. What about number 33?
52 and 73. Is 73, Ricky Robinson. 52, Michael Blevins.
16, Quinnell Tyree was in there.
And 33 is another phantom number, Mark.
Let's see if he's here. Nope. Twice we've been phantomed.
We've been phantom-sized.
Phantom-sized.
Can you say Phoebus?
Yep, Phoebus Phantoms. So Zach Thomas will punt this one away. Rare punt tonight for Eastern View.
Yeah,
I think it's his second, isn't it? Well, Thomas wants to run it. Now he decides to kick it. The short kick goes out of bounds, probably near the 30 or 35-yard line.
Yep.
6:26 to play in this one. 58-0 our score in favor of the Cyclones. And this broadcast is made possible by Triple Image. Make your clothes speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image at 829-1050.
They were
Punt of 8 yards.
Thomas was deciding whether to keep running it, because if they didn't come to him, he was going to run it. He wasn't trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to fake it, but he was just.
Eastern. James Monroe takes over at 7:43. That play produced a little laughter up here in the press box.
Yeah.
So James Monroe now has it on his own 43. They stick with Zach Davis under center. I formation behind him. Here's your ball carrier, Conway. And he got across the 45. It was KJ Conway. Got an injured player on the field.
Yep.
Why don't we take a break as well? We'll come back when the action resumes.
Not everyone is an HVAC expert. Luckily, with 20 years of experience, Able Heating and Air can answer any and all questions you may have about your system. Peace of mind and knowledge that you made the right choice because they are able to keep your home comfortable. Able Heating and Air, 718-7556.
What do your clothes say about you? Well, if they were screen printed or embroidered at Triple Image, they can speak volumes. Originality, professionalism, experience. Your clothes can speak volumes with custom printing and embroidery from Triple Image. 829-1050. Battlefield Automotive is proud to continue support of our high school youth and the Culpeper community. Winner of the prestigious Ford President's Award for a record 13 consecutive years. Battlefield Toyota, Chevrolet, and Ford offers award-winning service and unprecedented selection of new and used vehicles. Battlefield Automotive, a keystone of service and a cornerstone of our community.
CFC Farm and Home Center, hometown service since 1932. Finding the right outerwear for the job is difficult. Luckily, you'll find Carhartt clothing, Red Wing, and Irish Setter boots. From head to toe, it's easy to outfit with CFC Farm and Home Center. Found in Sons Funeral Chapels has made it their business to provide solutions during difficult times for over a quarter of a century. During that time, they've also made an investment in our youth through football, basketball, softball, baseball, lacrosse, skateboarding, and 4-H, among other projects. Good luck to tonight's teams and do your best. Every lifelong relationship starts with day one. At Virginia Community Bank, we'll talk about how you can bank with us for life. With 40-plus years of experience in Culpeper and beyond, it's our privilege to help clients achieve their goals, short-term, long-term, and everywhere in between. Bank with us anytime. Bank with us for a lifetime.
Welcome back to our broadcast. The injured player was 72, Tyrone Greenhow. Assisted off-field fumble, a good bounce back to Davis, but they tackle him back at the 45-yard line.
David Level.
David Level?
Yep, and Fights, number 59.
Those guys have been playing, starting the game. And they have it at the 44 now. Clock running, 5:30 to play in this one. 3rd down and 8.
I see James Monroe wants to, they just want this game to end.
Well, it's sort of hard to imagine when you think about the history that we'd ever get to the point where we'd have such a lopsided score like this. Here's a little play action, and Zach Davis got out to midfield. Sold the fake pretty nicely. Picked up first down yardage. Well, no, got out to midfield. He's going to be about 4 yards shy of a first down.
It was a 4th down, but they're going to go for it here, Mark.
Well, you really couldn't consider anything else at this juncture, couldn't you? Could you, considering the circumstances?
I just heard the PA announce if Eastern View holds James Monroe out of the end zone, James Monroe got shut out earlier this year. It'll be the only second time in 17 years they've been shut out twice in the regular season.
That's amazing. And here is the ball carrier, number 6, Zane Alston. Stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Mountain View shut them out 30-0. And if they lose here at 58-0, only second time in 18 years they've been shut out in the regular season twice.
All right, turnover on downs. Eastern View takes over at midfield. So looking ahead next week, we will be at Cyclones Stadium where the Cyclones take on the Foxes of King George in the regular season finale.
In the regular season finale. And Eastern View going for their second consecutive undefeated regular season.
Yeah. Butler back in there at quarterback. Fumble on the play, picked up by the ball carrier. Wasn't able to, bad exchange there. We've got number 35, Daquan Battle was the ball carrier.
Now it's 15 is in there, and that's the quarterback. That's Blake Leak. 15 is Blake Leak, so they don't have.
He is, yeah, there he is, number 15. 52.
52. And that's
Michael Blevins, 73.
Called him before, and that's
Ricky Robinson.
Ricky Robinson, 55. And that's Sean Weeks, 50.
Yep, 50.
And Cesar Alamonte.
Cesar Alamonte. Wow. And, you know, it's great to get these going deep to the reserves. Here's a handoff. Across midfield.
41.
And 41 is our player who we don't
name
know.
Player.
we got hit twice tonight with that.
Yep.
But the final 3 minutes will be ticking off here at Murray Stadium.
And 35, Daquan Battles in there as well.
And now, and the kid with the hair, unmistakably, Tanner Roca.
Tanner Roca. Like I said, the clock continued to run.
And they'll take their time. Ball spotted now at the Monroe 39-yard line. 2:45 to play here in this one. And you mentioned that Blake Leak being at quarterback for the Cyclones. A host of new players. You look at the line, those jerseys. And here's a tackle in the backfield of the player number 41. And making the tackle, number 10, Lloyd Johnson.
Only 4 shutout that James Rose ever suffered on his survey.
Interesting tidbits of
information.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, because it's a, I mean, you don't expect James Monroe to be shut out.
No. Not, you don't. And like I said, even they didn't get shut out against Cortland. So.
Second down and 16 yards to go.
He lost 5 yards on the play. Blake Leak in there as a quarterback. Better exchange this time. 40, 35, 30. Tackled near first down the first down marker was the running back number 35, Daquan Battle, Jr., 5'6", 155 pounds. He'll move the sticks.
Mark, I'm looking at big number 73 in the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And that 73 is Ricky Robinson, only a sophomore. He's 6'4" and doesn't even start. So
Yeah.
that tells you how good that's a big kid right there. That's a big boy. And, he'd be a starter at Culpeper. I mean, that's how Eastern View's just got so many athletes.
And that's Roca in motion. This is Leak, the ball carrier, straight ahead. Leak doing a good job. Second and third effort. Got inside the 25, down close to the 20-yard line as the now at the 1 minute mark here in the fourth quarter.
And then they'll restart
Restart the clock here in a moment after they reset.
Yep, let's start.
Here's a big guy, number 76 for James Monroe. And he is Keyshawn Nelson. 5'8", 370.
Oh,
Right here.
it's a big boy.
Big guy. Getting some playing time. Final 45 seconds ticking off, and quarterback will take a knee.
Down, 40 seconds to go. Might have to do it one more time.
May do one more knee to get us out of here. So Eastern View going to win this game 58-0. Going to improve to 9-0 in the season. It has been quite a journey for the Cyclones this year. Been a just real juggernaut, as we pointed out. And the final 15 seconds will tick off. They won't have to get into the playoff, and they'll count down the final 10 to make it official. And here come the players to shake hands. Final seconds are ticking off, Steve. Our final score, 58-0. We were talking throughout the broadcast about the good things that happened for Eastern View and how poorly things went for James Monroe for the most part tonight. But what do you think looking ahead? What would you, if you're Eastern View, have to shore up if you want to get deep into the playoffs this season?
You got to really shore up. I mean, I don't know, Mark. I mean, basically, not just having bad plays at inopportune times. And, and I'm looking at Coach Rich Survey. The thing's got to have his hip operated on. You can see how he's walking.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of pain. And he's going to, they said he's going to wait. And I think this is his last year. So, And
been around a long time.
Been around a long time. And it's, he's a great coach. And I know he's disappointed, but he's, it's just sad to see him. I know he's in a lot of pain trying to walk out there in that field.
And speaking of pain, we had a couple of players for Eastern View shaking up tonight. Jalen Veeney, Zach Brown. Hopefully we'll know the status of them over the weekend. Anyway, Steve, enjoyed calling the game with you tonight. It was a big win for Eastern View, and they have a chance to wrap up the regular season undefeated next week at home against King George. Well, that'll do it tonight for us from Maury Stadium here in Fredericksburg, Virginia, the home of James Monroe's Yellow Jackets, where the final score is Cyclones 58, Yellow Jackets nothing. For Steve and Johnny, I'm Mark O'Connell saying thanks for watching and supporting Cyclones football on the Culpeper Media Network. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week from Cyclone Stadium.
Good night.